Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that can say it has survived the pro wrestling marathon. It's Lost in the Midcard. Welcome to a special edition of Lost in the Midcard, not only because it's episode number 91 as we approach episode 100, but it is our special look into WWE 2K17. We're also going to talk about Raw and a brilliant SmackDown this week and much more. But first, let's say thank you to SpiderDuck.net and for enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you got to do, search for Lost in the Midcard, hit subscribe. That way you know every time a new episode hits your ears, every Thursday and then also every Monday after a WWE pay-per-view. We're also subscribable on YouTube. The links to all that are on our Facebook page and a lot of other stuff too. Facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. We're also on the Twitter at LITMC Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett, and I'm on the Twitter at JB Huskers, and as always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
All right, JB, how are you doing?
Just all right, huh?
Yeah.
Just all right.
I've kind of been overdosed on wrestling for the past 7 days, so...
We have come out the other end.
Yeah, about damn time.
Started with Impact on Thursday and ended with the Cruiserweight Classic just 15 minutes ago as we record. Very insane amount of wrestling. Actually, we won't even get to Ring of Honor this week. We'll get to that. We'll fly by it next week and hopefully kind of tie it into television if television is caught up as well, so we could just kind of look towards the future. As I mentioned, this is our special WWE 2K17 episode. We're going to kick off the show with this talk, and we have some guests, some familiar voices. First off, he is at Charles Shane. You've heard him on this show before. It's Mr. Charles Shane from the WWE Games community. Charles, welcome back. Thanks for coming on. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Can't wait to talk All-Stars 2. 2K17.
I wish there was another All-Stars game. I loved that fucking game. Oh, my God.
I think we all...
And also, joining us, he is the commissioner of Black Diamond Wrestling. You've heard him on the show many times as well on the Twitter at Trevor Oz, O-S-Z. It is Mr. Trevor Oz. Trevor, how you doing this evening?
Is this the podcast where we're going to talk about WWE Immortals for consoles?
That's another thing I would actually really enjoy.
I don't know.
They should do that, is what I'm saying.
If they did WWE Immortals with the graphic power of, like, Mortal Kombat, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I would be totally on board for that.
I guess if it had a full feature set, like, you know, actual more than, like, 3 moves, and awesome graphics, that could be amazing.
And they could have a stupid, cheesy story. That would be great.
Did you guys play a lot of it? I never touched it.
Yeah, for a mobile game, I thought it was fun.
I played Immortals quite a bit and then kind of laid off a bit. I mean, for a good solid few months, I was on that thing heavily.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've been away from, I stayed away from mobile gaming for a lot, but now Madden Mobile kind of sucked me in. The NBA mobile game has sucked me in, and now the Top Slam WWE trading card game has really sucked me in, and to like earn coins to open up packs, you got to download and play some of the games on mobile. So some of them are stupid and shitty, but hey, it gives me free coins. But there's some that are actually pretty good.
All right,
so I'm coming around on the mobile a little bit.
Did you just say that you play the WWE trading card game?
Yes.
What the hell, dude? It is.
Matt and myself.
It's a game to where you unlock pictures of wrestlers in an app.
I wouldn't call it a game. I'm calling it. I play a lot of games to earn coins to unlock packs. But yeah, I wouldn't call it a game, no.
Even so, man. Like,
it's crack though. Matt will attest to it. It's crack.
Say it ain't so, man. It's an addicting app. It's not a game. It's a trading card. It's a trading card app.
It's a trading card app. But you play a lot of you'll play a lot of games to be able to get coins and stuff too. So
essentially pictures of wrestlers. It has no real value.
You know those are free on the internet, right, JB?
Images.google.com.
You know what's funny? You claim that there's no value to them, Trevor, but if you wish to go on eBay right now and search WWE Slam, there's a lot of people making bank on these so-called digital cards that aren't worth anything.
I thought eBay did away with digital sales.
Nope, it's hot and heavy over there on the WWE Slam front.
I thought they did away with that when people were selling World of Warcraft characters for thousands of dollars and whatnot.
Yeah, maybe they did away with it years ago, but it's definitely back up and running now.
I mean, if you really think about it, essentially these games, like, the Immortal games where you gotta do stuff in the game, you gotta get stuff in that, coins or whatever, to build up to get new characters. They bring out new stuff, you gotta grind through it and get the guys. All these games thrive off that human instinct of, if I do something, it doesn't matter how crappy the reward is, I got rewarded and I feel good about it, so I'm going to do it again. And all these games thrive off that. Like, people have done studies on this. They went to conventions where these games are shown off and stuff like that, and set up a demo of just a stupid thing where you go and there's this model of this room or something like that. And basically all you're doing is doing stupid stuff like flipping light switches, physical light switches on this freaking board. And if you sit there and you do that, you got some kind of reward for it. People sat there or stood there for hours flipping light switches and pushing buttons and doing all this stuff, getting these horrible rewards for it. But there's that instinct in a human brain that thrives on that, and these people are doing it with digital games.
Well, I mean, almost every one of these games has the premise of you can only play so much before you run out of stamina, and then, you want to play some more? Well, hey, let's see your credit card. I've heard people spend $1,000 on Candy Crush, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? I haven't spent a dime on that game, but
even the free-to-play games that you see on consoles and stuff nowadays. Look at all the games like Warframe and stuff like that. They all have even the newest one. Gosh, I just blanked on its name, but they all. If you go to any of those, no, it's the one on Overwatch, Bethesda's game, Overwatch. That even has a mic. You don't have to do it. You can eventually unlock everything through the game just by playing. But there's that little microtransaction thing that starts out with the first pack. It's like $4.99. It goes all the way up to a pack that's $99.99.
All that is skins.
Yeah, you get your skin. Well, that's the thing. You don't even know what you're going to get. It's giving you loot boxes that you open that throws random items up in the air, whether it be a voiceover or a skin or whatever.
Yeah, the only thing in there is just nothing to help you in the game. It's just cosmetic.
Yeah, it's all cosmetic stuff, and people are going and buying this stuff like crazy.
Yeah, I've never had the urge to buy. I've played the shit out of Overwatch. I think I played 200 matches on Season 1 that just wrapped up, and I have never had an inkling to buy anything to get more skins because, you unlock those.
They haven't announced anything for 2K17 going microtransaction crazy, have they?
Not yet.
It'll happen eventually.
Oh, it's going to happen. There's no way it's not. I mean, look at 2K basketball.
I would not be surprised to see some sort of microtransaction involved with my career this year. I also would not be surprised to see WWE Supercard finally be integrated with the 2K series like Cat Daddy does my NBA every year with the NBA 2K game. Yeah. And if there's some kind of crossover with WWE Supercard and 2K17, you bet your ass there's going to be microtransactions involved there as well.
Call me crazy, okay? I'm going to throw this out there, and everybody's going to think I'm freaking nuts, I'm sure. But I think with the stuff that we know about 2K17 already, that big blog post that they did, which was awesome, they need to do that more often. But I think with them working on core features of the game this year, and not saying, hey, let's throw all this new stuff in there, let's spend all this time making another, story type mode where play it once, we're done with it, and no one touches it again. I, for some reason, really think everybody's going nuts about the new sets for the shows that happened this week. And all these, new wrestlers, new sets, all that stuff. I really think that all these new wrestlers that debuted and all these new sets before next year's game comes out, those will be in this game as DLC. I really think that's going to give them time that they're not working on other crap, that they're going to, like, wrestlers that are debuted or not in the game yet, they're all already being worked on, and I think these new sets and stuff are going to end up being there as well.
Yeah, that is one hell of a bold prediction, which I do not agree with.
Sets will be.
I think it'll happen.
The sets will be.
I don't
think all the wrestlers will either, because they already have their DLC lined out. Like, they already know what's coming out before, and probably a couple months ago at that.
Yeah, I mean, they've already detailed that the season pass has 4 DLC packs in it, and that doesn't include the NXT enhancement pack that comes with the collector's edition. We'll be talking all about that collector's edition today. I'm
thing with
sure of that.
I mean, the ability for these companies to do that is there. I mean, look what the last iteration of NCAA football did. They had DLC for the alternate uniforms as they were being used throughout the season. They obviously EA got these ahead of time so they could make them digitally into the game. But they were able to do this throughout the year and release new jerseys. So, it's not a matter of if they can do it. It's a matter if they want to do it.
See, my thing is like, people are saying that, like, you guys said the DLC, it's already lined out. So everybody's like, okay, well, that's all we're getting. There it is. It's in the season pass. If you read the wording of their season pass, it says that you're going to gain access to including 4 DLC packs. Tons of bonus, great value. You have the My Player Kickstarter, and it comes out, they're saying March 31st, 2017 or whatever. Okay. Yeah, but the thing is, it says you get 4 DLC packs. They're not saying that they're not making more after that. And those are not going to be in your season pass.
But they use that same wording every year.
Yeah,
so, why should we believe that this year is going to be different?
Because companies use that wording no matter what company is. Look at all of them. They use that wording, and there's a lot of people that were ticked off because companies did come out with more DLC. And then the companies have to explain, we sold you a season pass for $30, and we gave you $30 worth of content. You knew how many packs you were getting. You knew what we were giving you in the past, and that's a $30 value. We're now bringing out even more value. If you want it, you can buy it. If you don't have to. I don't know. For some reason, I really think these new sets and stuff, they're not sweating it because I think they're going to be in there.
I don't know, man. I think the power of a yearly game, when they know people will buy the game all over again next year for the new logos and the new sets and the new championships and the new superstars that just recently came in. Like Bobby Roode, for example. I don't see him in 2K17.
I honestly see him being in the game. Not in the game, but later he'll be in the game.
I see the Cruiserweight. I see a greater likelihood of a couple guys from the Cruiserweight Classic being in like a Cruiserweight Classic pack. Yeah. Like some of the people that were signed under a WWE deal prior to this tournament beginning. I could see them doing something like that and maybe giving us the arena. Because that arena, they could probably put that arena together in like 10 minutes. I could see them doing something like that. I don't see Bobby Roode making a game this year.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not with that entrance and not with the music and stuff.
Years ago, I would never say this because it was THQ and they're pile of crap. But
ouch!
Well, I mean, seriously, I mean
they're dead now, so I guess just on the ground.
They live again though.
Recently or something.
Yeah,
I thought they were bad.
I mean, years ago. I mean, not like personal thing, but as a business and how they treated the wrestling franchise. I mean, they took most of the funds from the wrestling game franchises and would then put them into these games that would bomb every year. And,
the budget for the WWE games were terrible,
and they would bomb. Not even that. Like look at all the was that draw, whatever the crap it was. They put so much money in that. I think that's what killed them as a company.
Huge draw, it killed them.
Yeah, it was huge.
But they would take their money.
It was an over $1 million mistake.
Instead of putting it into 2K series. Well, now
I bought one of those for like $8 just to be a whore on PlayStation 3 trophies.
Like the only reason I think it would happen is because 2K has no choice but to sooner or later step up and really treat the WWE series like they treat 2K basketball.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's.
You need to have your stuff updated. It can't be a year wait. It just can't.
Let's kick off the outline here of everything. Let's first start with what we have now. WWE 2K16. What worked well, Trevor, with WWE 2K16?
I think the switch over to a more realistic product. It wasn't the arcade style game anymore. I think that worked well. I think if the submission system, if refined, which it sounds like that's what they're doing, will probably be at its best this year. I think it was all right last year, but I definitely think it needs refined, and I think that's what they're doing this year. Those are definitely a couple things that I think that worked.
Matt?
I think the best aspect of 2K16 was the core gameplay itself. But that's really as far as I can go. It's the entire package of 2K16 that turned out to be a problem.
Okay. Charles, what worked well with WWE 2K16?
Honestly, man, that's a tough one. I played that game for like 2 weeks and stopped playing it for like months.
Yeah.
Probably, to me, it's the same old thing every year. And that's why I was pumped when that blog post came out and they detailed all the stuff they're changing with like core things of match types, gameplay, things like that. Because it's all that stuff they mentioned there, it all looks for the better. And it hopefully will be, every time they bring something out for talking a little bit about 2K17, it's always like, okay, that sounds awesome. I hope it's fun to play, is what I think every time. Because the longevity of me playing 2K16 didn't last very long. 2K15, it was a lot longer than that, but after a while that dwindled out too. And I mean, these are year-long games, but I don't even play them, honestly, up until the next release, because for so many years it's been the same thing with a tweak here, a tweak there, and it's just like, you guys need to be doing more to where I want to play this game every day until your next game comes out. And I know it's a lot to ask for to have someone want to play your game, but I mean, there's games out there that I have no problem playing for years straight. With a break here and there, but for me not to want to play your game not too long after a couple weeks of playing it. And I get it, there's the hardcore fans out there that love the game, they think it's great and everything, but I don't know, maybe, I mean, I'm 30-something years old now, I come from an old school background of arcade gameplay, and I'm a huge fan of the simulation type too, but this game has been confused. It doesn't know where it wants to be, and they need to either go, and it seems like they need to go full hardcore simulation and take anything out of this game whatsoever gameplay-wise that hints a little bit towards arcadey.
Yeah, I loved, and about the only thing I played in 2K16 was the career mode. Much like in 2K15, that was about all I played. I liked starting in NXT, working my way up into the main roster. I think they did a little better job with some branching this year, so I thought that's what went well. I didn't really mess with Universe because I just didn't put any. I didn't feel like putting any effort into it because I just didn't know what I wanted to get out of it. Mainly because I wanted an online component for Universe, so I just mainly stuck to the career mode and had some fun with that. But like Charles, I played it for maybe a couple of months here and for the most part, and then I haven't touched it in quite a while.
I've been begging for online for Universe ever since it was put in the game.
Now, on the other side of the coin, Trevor, what didn't work well with WWE 2K16?
I just didn't think it had, like Charles was talking about, it just didn't have the legs to stick around to where I wanted to play it. Like, I didn't play it as nearly as much as I play any other, because I used to play them like nonstop all the time, but like I would kind of sit there and play it for an hour and get bored. I don't know. I didn't catch the bug for it this year. I guess it does still feel a bit too samey. Even the cool stuff is like cool for a little bit, but then like the new animations and the feel of the matches and stuff like that, like that stuff's cool, but at the end of the day, it still kind of ends up the same. So I don't know. Just like there was nothing compelling me to come back to it.
Matt, what didn't work well with 2K16?
Gameplay wise, the submission system was trash. To me, it absolutely ruined the submission system. I tried to steer away from doing or taking submissions probably the entire time I played 2K16, which was, I would say, slightly more than I played 2K15, but not by much. I think the last time I played a WWE game for almost the entire year up until the next one was WWE 12. Maybe 2K14. but the other ones in between all that haven't really impressed me. I think the overall problem with the game of 2K16, and it's the same problem that 2K15 had, was replay value. And I've been writing an ongoing series at WWE Simiverse entitled the WWE 2K17, the Replay Value Conundrum, discussing certain modes and what can be done to help improve the replay value of these of the overall game itself and its modes. And it sounds like, from what they're talking so far, they've fixed a lot of it. And I think a lot of it is because of the fact that we finally don't have a freaking showcase this year that they were tied down to doing, just like Charles said. For a lot of people, you played it once and you didn't play it again. I'll tell you right now, I didn't play Showcase in 2K15, and I started, no, I would take that back. I started Showcase in 2K15, and I never finished it. I didn't even Showcase in 2K16. Didn't even play it. The fact that it's out this year, and that gave them more time to go and fix my career, to fix Universe, to add crowd fighting and backstage brawls, post-match beatdowns, these kind of things, I really and truly believe will help shape this franchise going forward. And it seems like 2K17 is going to be a turning point for this series, much like Here Comes the Pain was back on the PS2. Ironically, both covers feature Brock Lesnar.
That is for sure. Charles, what didn't work well in 2K16?
I mean, big time replay value was a big factor for me because to me it just felt like, okay, I'm picking up the same old game, I'm playing the same old game again, and it gets old to me. And to me, the way I looked at, I started looking at the 2K series, and I might even looked at it this way a little bit when THQ still had the game. It seems like this game for an actual player of video games, it really ain't 100% for someone that just wants to play a video game, I think. This game is, for years, has catered towards the people that love to do live stream shows, love to do YouTube shows, love to do something where they're actually putting on a show using this game. And people like eFeds and stuff like that. It works perfect for this kind of stuff. But if you want to sit down, it ain't like 2K basketball where you sit down, you play with buddies, or you play on with buddies, and it feels like you're playing a real basketball game. That feels awesome. This game don't feel like that. There's just too many things where it doesn't want to know if it wants to be a simulation game or wants to be an arcade game, and there's just stuff like the broken submission system that completely ruins a match, to where you won't even want to come close to playing someone online, to where you have to play with friends, to where you have to make up special rules of don't do this because otherwise it's a horrible match and we're not going to have fun. It's stuff like that. There needs to be stuff in place to where you don't have to only play with friends and have these rules with each other that, okay, we're not going to do that because we know it's going to make a horrible fun or a horrible playing experience where we're not going to have any fun. And it's been like that every time I've ever played online with a wrestling game, except for All-Stars. That game is amazing.
I think online, All-Stars was the last game I played online with random people.
Yeah. There's only one rule that I've ever had with people that I played with online that I actually knew, and that was you have to win the match by KO because pins were horrible. But other than that, that game was so fun to play online. If 2K can somehow capture that with the 2K Wrestling series, that would be amazing. And still do it in a simulation environment. But until they have things down to where the submission system's great, the pin system's great, and you can't have people doing cheese stuff online to where you don't want to play with them anymore, and then you go play with friends, you got to make up these special rules. Until they do that kind of stuff, this game to me just caters towards people that want to do like a YouTube show or want to do like a YouTube series or want to have an eFed or something like that, because you got to make up rules.
Mm-hmm. I will give them credit as far as 2K16's on. While the submission system is just as shitty online as it is off, the pin meter actually works really well online in 2K16. I was surprised with how accurate it was, and I felt like I was really able to control the pin meter online just as well as I could off. So that's a step in the right direction, because the pin meter in 2K15 online was atrocious. So they definitely fixed it for 2K16. And with the secondary submission system coming back in 2K17, which is just essentially, I guess, breaking points coming back, the button mashing, which I don't have a problem with at all after playing the garbage of the last years with the submission system. I will take button mashing all day long. If there's a match type option online where you get to say which submission system you'd rather play, I'll be thrilled. I think that's definitely a step back in the right direction.
Yeah, for me, what didn't work well was just repetitive moves. I think you guys tell me if this would be something that would be handy to have in the game. Is a checklist of things, not the full checklist on the screen, that'd be a mess, but a checklist of things that may pop up as you achieve them, and you need to do those in order to get a finisher rather than just doing the same shit over and over and building a meter. It's something that adds variety to your moveset, and the more variety that you're able to do in your moveset allows you to progress further in a match.
I would honestly hate having a game tell me what I have to do in a match in order to build a finisher. That's just me personally. If I was told I had to do X, Y, and Z to do that instead of just wrestling the match the way I wanted to, I would absolutely hate that. It's one of the reasons I hate Showcase. I hate having a checklist going into a match telling me what I have to do to relive a damn moment that I don't really care about reliving. I just want to go in and play a wrestling match. And I don't care about the checklist. And if a checklist was in every single match, I think that would drive me up the fucking wall. I don't think I would like that at all.
Well, maybe if they just rehaul their system somehow to where your moves are somewhat varied, rather than the same. I don't know.
I would say like the reason I'm like super excited, I'm sure a lot of people are, obviously, just with the feedback online, that the showcase ain't going to be there this year, is because like Matt said, he didn't even play it this year. I actually played the first match and then didn't touch it again until I say a few months ago, and I started playing it when the game came out. And I'm still not even close to beating it. I went back and started playing it again, and that was a little bit before they did that blog post saying that it's not going to be in the game anymore, and I was so stoked that it wasn't going to be in there anymore. Because one of the worst things, other than the checklist thing in the actual showcase mode, is when they have the QuickTime events, where they bring up all 4 face buttons on the screen, and then you're watching the cutscene play out. You can't even enjoy the cutscene because you're waiting for whatever random button that's going to light up. You're staring at that the whole time.
Yeah.
So you're not even watching what's going on in the awesome cutscene that's happening, because you're watching these 4 buttons at the bottom of the screen throughout this whole minute and a half cutscene, waiting for you to be able to hit one of these buttons when it finally lights up. It should be like consecutive button presses throughout the whole cutscene, not just one throughout the whole thing, and you're waiting for a good solid minute and a half, 2 minutes for this cutscene to play out, and then it finally gives you a button and you got to hit it. And then there it is.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you need showcase stuff in regular gameplay, but I just it's something to add variety. I need something in there to add variety. Trevor, one last thing on 2K16. What was the biggest thing missing?
Fun.
I would say the women.
What's that, Trevor?
Where were the women wrestlers at?
Yeah.
They completely left out. I mean, granted, it's a WWE decision who gets in the game every year, but I mean, it's like we had all these great women on NXT, and they left all of them out.
Well, the revolution had already started too.
See, that's the reason why I think this year they put something in place. I think they put something in place this year so that don't happen again, because they got so much freaking like throwback in their face for it last year.
Well, I can tell you all right now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, speaking to people that I have within 2K over the years, 3 out of 4 of the 4 horsewomen, be it on disc or DLC, were planned for 2K16, and they were all shut down multiple times by WWE. This was not a 2K decision.
They were shut down by somebody, by one person.
Well, there's one person that makes all the final decisions, and I don't think we really need to explain who that is. I think our listeners already know.
Shut up, pal!
Yeah, exactly. But yet, 3 out of 4 of them were planned. 2 were going to be on disc. 1 was going to be DLC, and the 4th one was not planned at all.
It was the Brooklyn Brawler, and months later they fired him.
Nobody plays with the women.
Yeah, well, they're all in this year. So, luckily, that's not a problem. This is shaping up to be the largest women's roster they've ever had in a WWE game.
You could say it's a revolution.
Yeah, pretty much. Once they reveal Asuka and Bayley next Tuesday, which they're already on the NXT Collector's Edition box art, so you know that they're in, you're looking at a 22-woman roster in WWE 2K17. That's crazy. Like, I never thought we'd see that many women in a WWE video game.
I never thought we'd see that many women in the WWE.
Yeah.
True story.
And I gotta say, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really freaking cool. I'm excited.
For me, like, I look forward to the women's matches even more than I do anything else on the card now, to be completely honest. So, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Matt, what was the biggest thing missing in 2K16?
Replay value.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that is the long and the short of it. The main thing missing in 2K16 was replay value.
What needs to be done in Universe to make that replayable to where you want to play it all the way till next October?
Well, it looks like they've started it with we've only gotten a small amount of details right now. They're definitely saying they have a whole big blowout feature presentation on this coming, but they're saying essentially that Universe now, instead of just playing out like a series of matches and then you go on to the next show, that Universe is going to play out like an episode of Raw or SmackDown or NXT or whatever, with promos and backstage brawls and a lot of new cutscenes and storylines and that's the great stuff. Like, for example, when Universe showed up in WWE 12, we had show openings. Yeah, and the Raw music and the pyro, and it showed around and it showed the fans, and they had the commentary at the beginning with a couple lines to start the show. It's the little things that suck you into the game that keep you there. And it never came back. It wasn't in 13, 14, 15, 2K16. It wasn't in any of those games afterwards. It's back this year.
It was like match 1, check. Match 2, check.
Yeah,
match
exactly.
2, check.
We got the show open back. It's a small thing, but honestly, to the WWE fan who is obsessed with attention to detail, it's a big deal. And this kind of stuff is the reason why people want to go back and replay things. And if Universe truly plays out like an episode of WWE TV like they claim, I could see me playing Universe all the way to 2K18. I really and truly hope that this Universe mode is everything that I've wanted since WWE 12. Because I feel like Universe's strongest showing was in WWE 12. And they did very little to improve upon it over the last few years, to the point where it was almost tedious to play. And I think, thank God for lack of showcase, because I think Universe finally got the attention it deserved this year, and we're finally going to get a mode that gives us all the replay value that we've been craving since the next-gen console showed up.
Yeah, you got to wonder, Showcase had to have taken a lot of assets, a lot of manpower, because you are creating specific things for 10 to 12 hours of gameplay from start to finish, where you're, with Universe, you're putting pieces together to make a finite set of replayability. And so there had to be a lot of assets that were used on those showcase modes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure a ton of budget was spent and blown on showcase mode. I was so happy when I saw that it wasn't coming back. Like, I'm in the same boat as Charles. When I read that there was no showcase mode this year, I'm like, thank God.
Charles, what's the biggest thing that was missing on 2K16?
Biggest thing that was missing? I mean, it's got to be replay value. I mean, I didn't play the game. I played the game for a few weeks, and I was done playing it. I mean, I go back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, if you really look around at the stuff like people that are like maybe playing the game on a live stream or doing YouTube videos and stuff like that. Look at the stuff they're doing. They're not just sitting down and playing matches, because in this game, that's not fun. They're not just going to go into exhibition and fight some matches against the AI, because that ain't fun. And Showcase is old and stale to everyone. That's why they're getting rid of it. I'm sure they somewhere have some stats on how that thing does not get played by people after either the first playthrough, or a lot of people probably don't even finish it. Because
they guarantee you they have stats.
Oh, for sure. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting rid of it. And then, I mean, you got the My Career, which still ain't nowhere near where I would like it to be, and I'm sure it ain't nowhere near they would like it to be as well. But I mean, it's getting better. It's better than the year before when 30 times Vicky Guerrero told she had nothing for you.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's got better
awful.
since that. But
Excuse me?
it still ain't where it needs to be. And Universe Mode, the stuff that they're saying that possibly is going on and what's going to happen in there, I hope it happens like it's happening on paper when I actually play it. Because, yeah, that could take me to next year's game if that was to happen. But, yeah, replay value, man. I want this game. I want to sit down and have a fun time no matter what I'm doing in the game. I mean, I guarantee not every feature is going to hit, but your main core gameplay should be keeping me there no matter where I'm playing it at in your game. And to me, that just hasn't done it for years. And like I said, if you look at people that are streaming stuff, there's always some kind of like tournament or EFED or some kind of showmanship thing that they're putting into their videos because the game at a core of itself, no one wants to watch it. You got all these games out there that people that are sports games.
I mean, I've
love
had people
to watch people play them. That don't happen with this game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've had people ask me for the past 2 years why I don't do YouTube or Twitch for the 2K games, and it's just because I don't have fun playing it for long periods of time. I was really considering doing it for 2K16 going into the launch of the game, and just like Charles, after a few weeks, I was already bored of it. And I'm like, I'm not going to play this on YouTube or Twitch to an audience and just do it to do it. Like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to play it to have fun. And if I'm not having fun, then I'm not going to spend an entire year playing a game that I'm bored to tears with a couple weeks in.
Yeah, Matt and I were going to do I was going to record a video of Matt and I playing Vince McMahon or somebody versus Vince or somebody versus Kevin Dunn, you know, and beating the shit out of him. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of, the interest in that kind of died as the game got released, you know.
Well, like I was saying on the whole thing with people, the way they do their videos and stuff like that, playing this game, and they don't just sit down and play the game, and then people like to enjoy watching it. That's not the case here, but. Look at a perfect example to go back to WWE All-Stars. When that game was out and people were streaming that, people were making YouTube videos, it was them playing with other people, either online or there locally, and that's all the video had to be. Because, and if you had everybody in the video that you were in a party with on Xbox or PlayStation, or if you had everybody at your house, if they were all on a mic somehow, everybody was having fun. It was nonstop people talking the whole time they're playing the game. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. That was crazy, because that was a fun game to play. It was actually played like a video game should play. Like, just stuff happening crazily all the time. Crazy reversals, crazy kickouts, just the whole time. That game needs this. And it so far, for me, in years, hasn't done it.
Yeah, so that's it for 16 talk. We did get a little bit of 17 talk in there, but let's go fully into 2K17. The pre-order bonus this year is Goldberg. What do you guys think of that pre-order bonus?
Who are you asking?
Anybody.
I'll start then. I think it's great. I've been for years. I loved that he was in 2K14. He was one of my most used characters in 2K14. I was very disappointed that he was not in 15 or 16. I know 2K has tried for years to get him back in the game, and it just comes down to he's someone that Vince McMahon doesn't like for some reason. But some reason, somehow, some way this year they got it to work, and everybody's on the same page, and Goldberg's in as the pre-order bonus. You got WWE, WCW Goldberg, you got the Nitro, Halloween Havoc Arena. Honestly, I think this is one of the best pre-order bonuses they've ever done.
Beats the hell out of Terminator, huh?
Oh my god, don't get me started on that garbage.
I still to this day have not wrestled or even played against Arnold Schwarzenegger or Terminator in that game.
The first time I've actually seen him in motion in the game was actually earlier this week when I was running an AI Royal Rumble on the TV because I was bored, and the Terminator came out in the middle of it. I'm like, oh, so that's what the character model looks like, because I've never touched the damn thing either.
You mean Kenny Omega came out?
Yeah. Good old Kenny Omega. Yeah, that's about the only worthwhile thing Terminator being in the game last year is if you wanted to make Kenny Omega, you had a pretty decent set entrance music to make him with.
Exactly. Charles, what are your thoughts on Goldberg this year?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, he's a guy that needs to be in there, and I'm sure people are saying, "Oh my gosh, we got Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, everything. This is Here Comes the Pain all over again with a even bigger roster."
I think even better than that, Goldberg said that himself on Up Up Down Down. He's like, I'm looking forward to myself beating the shit out of Undertaker. Maybe that's foreshadowing, kids. Who knows?
Well,
Trevor,
I doubt that.
Yeah, I hope not.
I don't see
Goldberg's
Taker
name isn't
Goldberg.
John Cena, so.
what are your thoughts on Goldberg, Trevor?
I think it's definitely better than Terminator. I mean, I personally don't really care about Goldberg, but I think it's actually good to have someone that's actually a wrestler be the pre-order bonus. So that's pretty awesome. And I know there's a lot of people that actually do care about Goldberg, so I think...
Trevor?
You still there, Trevor?
At this moment,
My
we'd like
God,
to take time
Goldberg
and say,
jackhammered
rest in peace
Trevor.
to Trevor's internet connection.
Goldberg got pissed that Trevor was burying him and jackhammering him to hell.
I'll tell you what, though, the one thing that was, I watched the Goldberg entrance video. I was so let down by him blowing the smoke out of his nose.
Well, he did. He blows the smoke. He does it twice. The only thing I didn't like was I thought the pyro was not excessive enough. For
it was Gilberg's entrance.
It wasn't Gilbert bad, but it wasn't Goldberg epic either. I'm kind of hoping that maybe the pyro is more excessive in his WWE entrance instead, but I have no idea. And that's me nitpicking. I think the character model looks great. I love the backstage walk with the security guards.
I wanted the pyro where it's even going off every time he throws his arms up in the air.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think there was nearly enough pyro. Like, when Goldberg's walking out on the stage, the pyro's already going off. Like, he's walking in to the pyro. And that's really not there. It's really not there in this entrance.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Where he stood there and then they set it off on him.
So why isn't Gilbert also in this game?
Hey, Trevor's back from the jackhammer. How you doing, buddy?
Because nobody would use Goldberg and they'd use Gilbert instead.
Everybody would be beating up Goldberg with Gilbert.
Dude, what if Gilbert's DLC?
That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
Remember Dwayne Gill's sweet music?
Yeah, it was like guys humming to the tune, wasn't it?
I thought it was not Gilbert chant over
not Gilbert's
again.
sweet music, but Dwayne Gill's sweet music.
I don't remember Dwayne Gill's entrance music.
I don't either.
It was fantastic. Everybody go to the YouTube, look up Dwayne Gill's theme music, and it's very awesome. But
YouTube will be flooded with Gilbert beating the shit out of Goldberg videos if he's DLC this year.
He's going to be a great character. It's going to happen anyways.
I would love to see Gilbert's DLC. Like, I don't think it'll happen, but I think that would be fantastic.
Here's a fun topic that we'll talk about, and we'll go around the table here. I'm sure you all have a lot of things to say about this. But kids, for $99.99, I don't even know if you can order it. You can't order it on WWE Shop anymore. It's sold out. Amazon, I'm not sure what the availability is, but there is the NXT edition for $99.99 that includes premium packaging, because we all love that premium packaging. The NXT enhancement pack, I don't know if blue pills are included, but you get to play with Shinsuke Nakamura, Nia Jax, and Apollo Crews, plus 50% boost in points earned for My Career Superstar while you're in NXT. Also, an exclusive canvas-to-canvas lithograph designed by WWE artist Rob Schamberger and autographed by superstar Shinsuke Nakamura. Also, an 8-inch Demon Finn Balor collectible figurine. Exclusive Topps NXT TakeOver London Matte Relic cards featuring one piece of authentic ring canvas from that event and one of the 14 featured superstars from that event. Also, are one of 10 different rarity levels as well. And also a Goldberg pack, of course, two playable versions, the WCW and WWE version of Bill Goldberg, along with the Monday Nitro set and Halloween Havoc. Matt, what are your thoughts on this NXT edition and the fact that you can only get Nakamura Jackson Cruz by buying this?
Well, first off, that's incorrect.
Is it correct?
That's incorrect. They are available day one for people who have the NXT Collector's Edition. They are available for purchase day one for Xbox 360 and PS3 owners. And they will be available at a later date this year for purchase for Xbox One and PS4 owners. Which leads me to my point as a digital buyer. I buy all my next-gen games digitally on the Xbox One. The fact that there was no digital NXT edition to allow me to have these characters on day one, to me, is absolutely insulting. I have purchased the WWE 2K17 Digital Deluxe Edition, which includes the Season Pass, for $89.99. The fact that I cannot spend an additional $5 or $10 or however much it's going to be on day one and get these characters for my game is absolutely bullshit. There should be no reason to punish the digital gamer because they don't want your collector's edition that is going to sit in the box and collect dust because you're not going to use it. You have locked the NXT champion behind a collector's edition paywall for God knows how long, because they're not saying how long. All they're saying is we'll be able to buy them before the year's over. So that means what? Like Halloween? Does that mean Thanksgiving? Does that mean Christmas? Like, when are we going to be able to have these guys in our game because we didn't want your stupid collector's edition? This is, to me, out of all the things 2K has done this year, this is the thing they got the most wrong, and I couldn't be more disappointed in them on it.
Charles, what are your thoughts on the NXT edition here?
Well, I mean, it's a great collector's edition, but I'm like Matt. I buy everything digitally. This is the only thing that I'm buying physically, and honestly, it doesn't even have to do with those three superstars. It has to do with the fact that Finn Balor's freaking statue's in there.
Yeah, that statue's pretty sweet.
I mean, even if the NXT guys, if you're able to get them some other way, which you are, I mean, basically what's going to happen with me is anytime they do stuff like this with a collector's edition, I buy the collector's edition, I take the stuff out of it that I like, and I sell the other stuff. I just get rid of it that I don't want, which is probably what I'll do. I'll take the game that I get with it and I'll sell it off, and I'll still have the game digitally. But yeah, this totally should have had these wrestlers somehow on day one. It's even crazier the fact that it is digitally available, but on last gen.
Yeah,
that's
and I get that by the end of the time this game comes out, last gen's going to have so much crap that's not in it, it's going to be ridiculous.
Well, Charles, you can think of me when you want to sell that Nakamura signed thing and the Topps card too.
Oh, the Nakamura is being kept. That's
okay.
Rob Schamberger. I'm keeping anything that. Now, honestly, that's two.
You were marking out.
There.
You were marking out so much on Finn. I thought you were not caring about the Schamberger thing.
I'll buy that NXT enhancement pack code off you, Charles.
Like, well, I'm keeping that now. I'm buying the collector's edition. I'm getting rid of pretty much the game.
I know, it's worth a shot.
He's getting rid of the game.
One of the things I feel kind of good about is it's going to be cool to have that, that statue of Finn Balor, just because I'm a huge Finn Balor fan. And also, I like supporting Rob Schamberger. That dude does amazing work. I love the stuff that he does. I love following him on Twitter and seeing all the events he's at, selling all of his stuff. I love seeing the videos he puts out and the emails he sends out with all the cool stuff at his events. So, I mean, this, again, is another way to support him. And, hey, man, I mean, not too many people are going to say they have, Nakamura's autograph on that thing.
Yeah, I'm still a physical buyer of goods because typically I don't buy a lot of games day of. And if I do, I get 20% off at Amazon. So I pay $48 for a brand new game. A lot of my games come from GameFly, that I'll get for $10 to $15 6 to 8 months after it's come out. So that's how I buy most of my games. So I still mainly go with physical copies.
That is one of the great things that people that don't know, if you do get anything from Amazon, you are a Prime member, you get like $20 off the new release
20%.
games. 20%?
20%. So, yeah, 20%. So a brand new $60 game will cost you $48.
Yeah. So like And people that are members of like Best Buy, if you're a game member there, you pay $30 a year. You get you can get the collector's edition of this. You can get it for like $80 or $70 or whatever.
Yeah, well, a lot of collector's editions will cost you a hair over $60.
Yeah,
it'll cost you almost the regular price of the game. So it's a pretty cool deal.
Like I will say that people are looking to still try to pre-order this bundle. Amazon sold out. WWE Shop sold out. If you're able to shop at Best Buy's website, they are actually still doing pre-orders for both systems. And as far as I know, they're pretty awesome as well. If you are like a member there, they will also give you free 2-day delivery, which guarantees that'll be there on release day for video games and movies. So you're good on release day as well.
And Trevor, finally, what are your thoughts on the NXT edition here?
I mean, I think the collector's edition is really cool. Like the actual content inside of it. I just agree with Matt where I think them not releasing that NXT enhancement pack separately for Xbox One and PS4 users day one is bullshit.
That is so odd how the last gen customers are getting.
Yeah, it's like what the. I mean, it just makes no.
They're essentially punishing us for not buying this edition. Because the PS3 and the Xbox 360 owners can't buy it because they didn't make a collector's edition for 360 and PS3. So since they didn't make a collector's edition, they're just letting you buy it on day one. Whereas us, because we didn't buy their physical NXT edition, we can't play as Nakamura and company on day one. I have no problem paying $5 or $10 on day one to go with the game. To have these three guys, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. But the fact that they're keeping them away from us is what I have an issue with.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I mean, I would pay extra to have them day one, but they don't give me that option. That's
especially when it's not a mass-produced item. Like Charles just said, it's sold out on Amazon and WWE Shop. Best Buy looks like your best bet to get the edition right now. But
I think there's only 50,000 total. Yeah. Like 25,000 on Xbox One, 25,000 on PS4, and that's every
time they do this, there can only be so many because it's however many cards they get autographed by the superstar, and this year was Nakamura. So however many cards there are is how many versions that they did.
My gut feeling is that these will be available on Xbox One and PS4 November 11th or 12th, 30 days after the game comes out. That's what
too long.
It is, but that'll be my gut feeling is 30 days after the game
and the worst part about this is there's going to be people who buy this edition who don't care about those characters, and they're going to throw the code on eBay and make bank on it.
And, no shit.
And it's disgusting.
All right, IGN released week 4 of their roster reveal yesterday, and so I'm going to run through the guys real quick here, and then Matt has got what he thinks is going to be the solidified week 5 reveal. But first, week 4, Alberto Del Rio, Mr. Suspension, Big Cass, 7 foot tall, The Big Show, Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, Brock Lesnar's in the game? No way.
Jose.
Thanks for easing the suspense.
I know. Carmella.
Whoo, he made it.
Carmella, how you doing? Fuck you.
Big Cass.
Fuck you, IGN. I was going through the slideshow and it went to like a goddamn video advertisement.
Dude, they list all the names underneath the slideshow.
I know, but I was going through the pictures.
God damn it.
Bray Wyatt. Chad Gable, Darren Young, Dash Wilder, Diamond Dallas Page, Earthquake, Enzo Amore, Goldberg, Jason Jordan, JBL, Mark Henry, Page, Razor Ramon, Ric Flair, Rusev, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, Sasha Banks, Scott Dawson, Sheamus, The Miz, Titus O'Neil, Typhoon, and Zack Ryder.
You know,
Matt, what in that week 4 reveal has you the most excited?
I won't say anything.
Say Typhoon.
I was hoping he would.
I won't say anything particularly excited me. Because I knew American Alpha and the Revival were in when the NXT box art collector's edition came out. I think if I wouldn't have known those ahead of time, I would have been surprised and happy about that. I think the biggest surprise on that list was probably Carmella, because the women's roster was so big already. To see that she got included as well, I was genuinely surprised, and I'm happy about it. I think it's great, but I would say she was my biggest surprise on the Week 4 reveal.
All right, Trevor, here you go. What was your favorite on the list of the Week 4 reveal?
Obviously, Typhoon. And
I was hoping Tugboat would.
I wish it was the Shockmaster.
Dude,
he should
I
have.
was just about to say, if they have alternate skins for Shockmaster and Tugboat, I'd be all about it.
Okay, that would be my favorite one too. If the Shockmaster was an alternate skin, that would be everything.
Imagine you're playing the universe mode and you're in a backstage segment and busting through the wall and tripping as the Shockmaster.
Oh, dude. On a Shockmaster side note, Mattel, you're awesome for making that figure upside down and backwards in the package.
Yes.
You are
so
awesome. Amazing.
I wish I want that figure so bad.
I want
Why don't you buy
copies.
it? They were selling it on their store.
Really?
They had it on the online store. You could buy all their Comic-Con exclusives.
I thought it was San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, period.
No, Mattel always puts all their Comic-Con exclusives on their website for a short period of time while the show's
Oh my god. It's
already
already
that
sold
figure
out,
for like
isn't
20
it?
Oh, for sure. You could have bought that figure for like $20. That's where I got the Undertaker Comic-Con exclusive when they did that for the first time. They always have their Comic-Cons on there.
I would have bought two, one to take out of the package and one to keep in the package.
Yeah, I would have done the same, man. I'm so disappointed right now. Oh, that sucks.
Every year, Mattel always has their Comic-Con exclusive or any event exclusives on their website for people to try to buy them. And
freaking damn it!
If you get them within the day or even a few days, you're going to get them. They make enough to make sure people can get them.
That sucks. I'm very bummed out right now. I would have bought that in a heartbeat.
Charles, what excited you from their Week 4 roster reveal?
Week 4 roster reveal. I mean, I was in a way surprised about Carmella, but also all I had in the back of my head was there's no way that anybody that has an inkling of popularity when that whole the whole stink happened with all the divas last year, now superstars. Yeah. When that happened last year, leading up to when the roster cutoff was going to happen, anybody that had an inkling of popularity was going to be in this game as a female. Just because they didn't want to go through that again, I don't think.
And unfortunately, she wasn't getting over on SmackDown, so they turned her heel.
Yeah,
I think that was the smartest thing they could have done.
Oh, and it was
she
a great
could beat
double
up
turn.
Nikki Bella.
It was a great. Oh yeah, my favorite thing to do: beat up Nikki Bella.
But overall, I was probably surprised that Brock Lesnar made it. I was I was hanging out there on a limb, just hoping and praying.
I was surprised at Goldberg too. I mean, I figured he just showed up in the commercial.
You've known forever he was going to be your cover athlete. Why is he in this week's roster reveal, not the first one?
Especially in the first week roster reveal, the entrance they showed was Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat until that article came out yesterday, man.
There had to be something where someone was proofreading. He's like, we don't have Brock Lesnar on this list. We might want to throw.
I guarantee that's probably what it was.
Or they were trolling. They might have been trolling too. Who knows?
That could be.
Oh man!
All right.
But no, Matt, to me, it's always cool when legends get put in there. So it's cool to see Razor and stuff like that. And with them making the roster, it seems bigger and bigger every single year.
Yeah,
I can't help but to think every year it's like, man, this roster is amazing, but there's no Hulk Hogan,
brother.
Who?
No Hulk Hogan. There's always someone that has to be missing, and
I think that was a rhetorical question, Charles.
Who's that? I think you meant Steven Richards.
But I will say, if you look at the shows that are coming out on like the newer shows that they're releasing on the WWE Network, like JBL show and just the newer shows that are coming out, they are starting to not have a problem with people mentioning his name again.
Yeah.
So it's starting to
the one with Jimmy Hart.
Talk about him. People, he's allowed to come up in conversation again. So, I mean, year or two, who knows? Even this year at WrestleMania, Hogan will be back.
Dude, if he's in his DLC this year, I'd be happy as shit. Like, give people the choice. If you don't want him in your game, you don't have to have him. But hey, he's here's DLC if you want him. Like
Matt and I have said on the podcast all along that we fully expect him back before WrestleMania. So
I get WWE because you got to look at the way the crowd reacts right now. Okay, a lot of times they do crazy stuff just to get the attention on them. They random CM Punk chant every once in a while still breaks out. It happened this weekend, and the last thing they want is someone to break out with some kind of racist chant when Hulk Hogan's on their television. I'm telling you, with the way the crowd acts nowadays, there's a huge possibility that could happen, and that's the last thing they want. So,
the way I feel,
they feel this is blown over enough.
The way I feel, Roman Reigns came back and didn't get the "You're on steroids" chant, which I honestly fully expected him to get when he came back from the wellness policy. The fact that he didn't get that leads me to think that Hogan could come back on TV and he wouldn't get any type of racist chants. I think honestly most people would just be genuinely happy to see Hogan back in the good graces of WWE. And
I think most people have forgotten about the racist stuff because all we see now is the Gawker stuff. So
yeah.
Even though the racist stuff came from that, they're just all thinking about the whole trial and how Hogan.
They need to really play it off, though.
The case.
Yeah,
like they need to really play it off. And whenever he finally does come back, he needs to come back as Mr. America with the mask on.
I'd be all right with that.
And Trevor, for you, for Hulk Hogan, maybe we can have a special skin for ECW Steve Austin, so then you can have some sort of Hulk Hogan in the game.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't believe you brought up Steve Austin. I almost want to go off on a tangent.
Oh boy.
Oh geez.
Matt, you said you had a good inkling on who's going to be revealed for Week 5 coming up next week. Who do you got on that?
Yeah, I've been following the roster reveal closely. If anybody was watching the little interactive Suplex City thing that 2K has on their website right now, where you pick out the clues and they do like an interactive bio on the roster members. When that was first unveiled, when 2K put that up on their website, they said on the sheet that there were 150 superstars and legends in the game. Later on, 2K went on their forums and basically said, yeah, that was the original plan number. We don't have quite that many, but we still have more than last year. So last year was in the 120s. They initially wanted to go for 150. They didn't quite get there. So what I have my roster at is total of 138 on disc. If there's 138, in my opinion, this is Week 5's roster reveal. And we can go back. We'll be able to compare this next week and see how right or wrong I am. So here we go. Asuka, Austin Aries, Batista, Bayley, the Big Boss Man, Buddy Murphy, Cactus Jack, Diesel, Dude Love, Dusty Rhodes, Eddie Guerrero, Gold Dust, Jack Swagger, Kane, Kevin Owens, Lex Luger, Luke Harper, Mankind, Road Dogg, Roman Reigns, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ty Dillinger, The Undertaker, Vader, Wesley Blake, William Regal, and X-Pac. And if by some way they get the roster to 139, you throw in the Honky Tonk Man too.
Well,
that's my opinion of what Week 5's roster reveal is going to look like, barring like any huge surprises. Like somehow we get like Kurt Angle next week or something. Like that's what I think the roster is going to look like next Tuesday.
No Barry Horowitz.
I don't think so, man. Maybe DLC.
That'd be great.
Canceling my edition.
SmackDown Hotel had SmackDown Hotel does have Reigns on there already. I don't know if he's, but I don't know.
He has not been officially confirmed by IGN.
They must just be assumed.
But hey, if we have a pack with Gilbert, Barry Horowitz, maybe throw in the Pug and someone, we could have a jobber pack.
I would love a jobber pack.
So would I.
Just call it the Job Squad, the Job Squad pack.
Yeah, dude, have Al Snow, Bob Hawley, Dwayne Gill,
Blue Goon, Aldo Montoya,
yes.
Techno Team 2000,
Tony Roma,
the Blue Meanie.
Yeah, I'd be
slapped in the back of the head by JBL again.
Yeah, dude, I would love a jobber pack. I think that would be fantastic.
I want a jobber showcase.
No showcase. No showcase.
Hey, they can just call up DDP and get a hold of Stevie Richards to get him in there.
Oh man. All right, let's go to the 2K17. article that came out almost 2 weeks ago. The features revealed. First off, so I'll read each one of these here and get everybody's thoughts on what 2K had to say. First off, gameplay. With the 2K franchise, we are striving to deliver the most authentic and realistic WWE experience possible. Fans have been asking us to truly improve the core gameplay experience since we inherited the brand, and we are taking your requests seriously. From controls to presentation to individual features, we've shifted the gameplay experience focus from an arcade-centric fighting game style to a simulation-based gameplay, and WWE 2K17 continues pushing in that direction with both improved and new gameplay mechanics. In WWE 2K17, the fans will more than ever get to control the action how and where they want, including competing in the crowd and backstage areas. Our community has asked for the return of playable backstage and crowd areas, so we delivered on this request. We greatly improved the responsiveness of gameplay while also updating game systems like ladders and taunts and new secondary submission system. As always, we added thousands of new animations into 2K17. So there is a lot of new gameplay for everyone to discover and enjoy. These are just a few of the gameplay improvements we are delivering in 2K17, all which provides the most authentic WWE experience to date. Matt, what do you think about that statement for gameplay?
Well, the statement at the beginning is really just a whole lot of blowing smoke up our ass. It's one thing to say it; it's another thing to prove it. In the beginning of the article, I'm honestly, as I'm reading the article, if I can give you a live play-by-play of how I was feeling as I was reading it, I was rolling my eyes at the opening paragraph. I'm like, yeah, I've heard this song and dance before. I don't sing it, bring it. You know, I really want to see what you guys actually brought to the table this year, and don't give me the fancy marketing lingo that you've given me in years past and then not delivered on. So I really, at the first paragraph in, I wasn't really that impressed. But, you know, obviously as the article went on, they definitely won me over.
Trevor, what are your thoughts on gameplay and what they have? Is it blowing smoke up your ass too, you think?
Every year it's blowing smoke up our ass. That's what marketing does. So, I mean, it's true though. As someone who has, you know, I get emailed a lot of press releases. All right, and pretty much all of them say stuff similar. So, yeah, I mean, of course they're gonna tout it as, you know, their thing. I hope it's true. I hope we see some gameplay improvements this year. It sounds like from the more detailed stuff that's out there that we're gonna see that. So, I'm optimistic.
And Charles, what are your thoughts on the gameplay statement?
I guess just like I mentioned earlier in the show, it's all great on paper, but until I see it in the game actually fleshed out and playing like I expect it to play, I guess, and like they're making it sound it should play like we're just going off past experience here. Yeah. Stuff sounds great on paper when the stuff's announced, and then we get the game in our hands and it's a bunch of PR spin. And I think we've been dealing with it for too long, and they need to finally deliver this year. And hopefully with their main focus on the gameplay and not worrying about other things that people aren't playing, hopefully this year's the year they can finally deliver it. And if they do, it'll be a game that myself and I'm sure a lot of other people will be playing until the next one comes out. If not, we're going to be right in the same boat again.
Next section is creation. The WWE 2K17 Creation Suite enables the universe to customize, build, and share their own unique superstars, arenas, entrances, shows, and more. For 2K17, we added new creation features as well as focused on deepening and providing even more options for the existing features. For example, we added many more parts, more adjustment options, and elements like body hair. Wow. All of which can add to the game's massive set of customization options. So if you want a guy with a full bearskin rug on his chest, you can have him. We also added full highlight replay system, which allows players to record video highlights from their matches. The video content can be used in a new creative video feature, which allows players to create videos for uses like things in their custom entrance Titantron videos for created superstars. We've also deepened a create a show feature, added a new brand creative victory feature to ensure everyone can create the most comprehensive WWE experience possible. Whether players build their own worlds or simply expand on existing tools, the power is in their hands. Matt, this really didn't tell me anything outside of the fact that you could create your own Titantron based on your highlight videos, which I think is cool. What did you see out of the creation paragraph?
I love the fact that they're adding a bunch of new material. The more
chest hair,
dude, there were a lot of people bitching about the lack of chest hair the last few years. I'm not one of them, but there are a lot of people that wanted it. There's a lot of happy people that chest hair is back in the game this year.
Hey, that's why Razor's in this year, because they put the chest hair and they're like, hey, Razor, we need someone to show that off.
I could finally create the most authentic Joey Ryan this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And they say they're adding a whole bunch of new parts. The more gear in the game, the better, because the more gear you have, the more variety you can give to your characters, and you can make them look different and set them apart from everybody else's. So that's a great thing. The expanding of Create a Show, and Create Arena sound great. Not sure what the details are, but as long as they're continuing to expand and improve upon that, that's a good thing. The highlight reel Creatatron thing is really cool for people who really get obsessed with the video editing and stuff. That's really never been my thing. But I know a lot of people are thrilled that it's back. I love Create a Victory. Honestly, this is one of the things that I've wanted in a WWE game for as long as I can remember. The fact that every single Create a Superstar that you make has the exact same damn celebration at the end of the match.
Yeah.
Gotten on my last damn nerve. Like, it's ridiculous. Because you see people doing stuff in the way you created the person in your mind, or if it's like, let's say you created Kurt Angle and he's celebrating like Kurt Angle would never celebrate like that after a match. Now you can actually make your character celebrate specifically designed after how your character would celebrate, and it's gonna set. And it's another thing that sets Create a Superstars apart from years past, and I think it's an excellent addition. One thing I will point out as far as the creation suite goes, I love all the new options. I love that they're improving and fixing upon everything, but for the love of God, 2K, fix your fucking community creation servers. Because if you don't fix the community creation servers, all this amazing content that people create and upload, you can't even fucking download it because of all the glitches and errors that they've had the past 2 years. It's the servers for the community creations are borderline god awful, and I really hope that this is the year that when they talk about the online, that they announce that they've improved the servers for the downloads on community creations, and it's actually playable this year to the point where you can download whatever you want and it will actually work properly. Because for the last 2 years, it's been abysmally bad, and I would love to see this would be the year to turn it around, especially with all the creative content that they're going to offer this year.
I sure hope that Happy Gilmore's bull dance is one of the victory options. I would love to do the bull dance after a 1, 2, 3.
Will you stop?
Trevor, what did you think about the creation paragraph?
I mean, it all sounds good. I mean,
Are you a creation guy?
No, not really. I mean, I create like a single created superstar every year, and then I just download what everybody else makes. So,
yeah. I let the more talented people that want to put the time in do all that work for me.
Exactly. So, I'm with Matt here. They need to fix the community creation servers and the online servers in general. I mean, yeah, every game has issues at launch. Like, pretty much every game, unless it's Overwatch, has issues at launch. But, I mean,
dude, it's August. I'm still having download issues on community creations.
Oh, God.
Like, it's not launch day excuse anymore.
No.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, exactly. Like, if I can understand if they're not working, like, the first week, maybe the second week. But after that, you got to get that shit figured out. Because I know that, like, I don't think and maybe Charles can speak to this more, I don't think the NBA games have that issue.
Well, to be fair, there's really not a whole lot to download from the NBA, though.
Yeah, there's not much to download, but I mean, server-wise issues, even playing online. I mean, I don't hardly ever hear anything about that game. Seems to be okay.
It used to be terrible.
Yeah,
it did back in the day. NBA 2K Online was god awful, but they've definitely fixed that.
I I played live more this year, and then I played a lot of 2K when it was free on PlayStation Plus. But all I did on 2K was this
played
year.
Live? Someone standing behind you with a gun?
Fuck no, it was a good game this year.
What?
It was a good game this year.
I refuse to get in this argument with them, dude, because it's a losing battle, Charles. You're gonna waste your breath.
Should you emphasize that with
yeah, here we go.
Ad for EA Sports.
Just note this. JB is always wrong.
Shit.
Fair enough.
No, the gameplay was much better than 15, and the online, the Be a Pro and the Pro-Am stuff, that was a lot of fun. I mean, we played a shitload of games online this year with the Pro-Am stuff. 16 was a lot lot better than 15 by far.
Don't you guys worry about those community
dumpster fire.
But what were your thoughts on the creation stuff there, Charles?
I see in the same boat as most of you. I'm not the biggest person that goes in and creates a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to creative superstars. I kind of just hang back, see the awesome stuff that gets uploaded, and then download it and throw it into my game and start using it in universe mode and things like that. So long as the servers, that's the big thing for me. Whether you're playing online or you're trying to get content, getting the content, it's been brutal for years. And they need to do something where it is up all the time and you have no problem getting content, because that's the reason I go on there. I go on there to get everybody else's awesome stuff that they make so I can put it in my game and I don't have to do anything because I like being lazy.
Yeah, the worst part was when 2K16 launched. The community creations actually worked pretty well. And after the first patch released, I've had nothing but constant problems with community creations after the first patch that 2K released on the game. A couple
How many
weeks
patches
after
did they
launch.
release?
They've had I think they had 4 or 5 total patches. But after the first patch where they claim they fixed stability issues in community creations, they made it 10 times worse. And there's nothing that sucks the fun out of it or gets me down to not wanting to play your game than to see an amazing created superstar or an arena or something online, and then when I click to download it, it won't download.
Yeah,
it's one of the most frustrating feelings I've had in as far as playing WWE games over the last several years. Get your shit fixed. It shouldn't be that difficult.
It's like
really
they patched the
hope
game in
that
reverse.
Yeah, exactly. It truly feels like they reverse patched their game, because I was able to download just about anything I wanted to download when the game first came out, and after the first patch came out, I've had nothing but issues on the download side of the game since.
What do you guys think of the limited download slots? Do you think that should be done away with?
Yes. I hate that shit. Yes.
Has there ever been an explanation, seriously, for all these years now, especially with the current gen we're on now, where people got, on the Xbox One, they got USB hard. I got a 3 terabyte or 4 terabyte hard drive plugged into my system, and then I have another 5 gigs in it. So why can't I fill that thing? It can no longer be a thing where it's be hard for the game to load it or some crap. Come on, man, bullcrap. Let me fill my freaking hard drive.
Now, when we had 8 gigabyte memory cards that you stuck into your PS2, I could see that. But once they went to SATA hard drives that you use in laptops, it's stupid.
Honestly, if it had to be like Grand Theft Auto, where when I wanted to play the game, it had a huge freaking loading process at the beginning, but then I was fine the whole time I was playing it. If it had to load all that stuff off my drive or something like that, I'd be perfectly fine with that, as long as I could have it all. I'd be perfectly fine. But hey, man, we don't need to worry about these servers and things like that, guys. We got a 2K17 soundtrack curated by Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh, I
wasn't even going to bring that up.
Oh, God!
I wasn't even going to bring that up.
Well, you might as well now, pal. That's enough. You can't swing and a miss on that.
We already covered that last week or something, where we said, we would rather just listen to Superstar entrance music.
The songs I like. Have fun.
We already talked about 2K Showcase, but 2K's statement on it. One of the largest and most difficult decisions we made for 2K17 was to forego building a 2K Showcase. We designed and contemplated several showcase ideas, including options surrounding our cover superstar Brock Lesnar, but all of them were not viable due to many historic WWE superstars needed but not available for inclusion in the game. In addition, the team is heavily focused on building and delivering great content that the fans can enjoy for years to come, while Showcase will only live in games from year to year. In all, we didn't feel good about creating a showcase that was not up to our standards and current development vision, so we decided to take that effort and put it into modes our community requests. We keep improving the Universe mode in my career. Speaking of Universe mode, in WWE Universe mode, we are working to recreate the drama and excitement seen every week on Raw, SmackDown Live, and NXT. For 2K17, we created a new flow that focuses on these shows. The shows are what we watch each week, and now, with the recent brand split, even more important. Our new show presentation system makes players feel like they are playing through a weekly episode of any WWE television or network program. We've also added more intrigue and possibilities by incorporating run-ins as well as pre- and post-match attacks. Just like in the WWE, we never know what might happen next. Even with all these new features, presentation, and possibilities, we felt that something was missing. Promos. In turn, 2K17 will deliver a brand new promo engine that lets the WWE superstars express their thoughts and emotions to the WWE Universe and one another. The promo engine creates a new dynamic and brings the experience closer to the actual WWE than ever before. That's not all. We're also delivering a completely revamped offering of all Universe mode cutscenes, including familiar and brand new scenarios. Collectively, 2K17 represents the most comprehensive and authentic universe we've attempted thus far. A little smoke up the ass at the end there. I'm intrigued by the promo engine, but I have a feeling I could be set up to be let down. But Matt, what were your thoughts on the universe mode statement?
Well, they say it's the most comprehensive universe that they've done so far. Well, since 2K, you barely touched universe for the last 2 years. It's obviously the most comprehensive thing you've ever done to it. So bravo. I'm so glad you finally came to the party. I'm thrilled. I love the bullshit lines they're feeding me, and I'm probably being very stupid in believing them. I want to believe them. I want to believe that this is the real deal, that this is finally the year that I'm going to fall in love with Universe again. I'm a little cautious, but I'm very excited, and I really hope that everything that they're pitching out right now is going to deliver when push comes to shove on October 11th.
Trevor, what are your thoughts on the universe mode stuff, the promo engine, the cutscenes and everything there? What do you think about that promo engine? What do you want from it?
I mean, I'm not so quick to swallow these heaps of spoonfuls of bullshit, but I mean,
a spoonful of bullshit makes the medicine go down.
It depends on how limited that system is. Like, I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good base. I mean, hopefully it's more than just a base system, though. Because usually when they introduce new things, it's like, oh, we have this system in here, but it's going to be super limited, and the options are going to be super generic. At least until, like, next year when they put more options in. So, I mean, it could go either way. So I'm not... It's more something I need to try. I need to play before I can really say it. Like.
Yeah, I think it's weird they call it an engine.
That too.
Charles, what are your thoughts on the universe mode?
I mean, like, again, it's another thing that sounds great on paper, but I mean, that's the problem that I have with when this game gets revealed every single year. Everything is always on paper, and there's a lot of things that they don't show to us. And I mean, you're dialing out all this stuff. You couldn't give me a freaking clip video of one of these promos in action or something like that, because all I got to go off right now is what you've done for us already, and your promos in the game already suck.
Yeah, especially since we're already less than 2 months out.
I mean, if anybody that's played through my career and seen the promo backstage with your created superstar, or if you put a current superstar in there with Renee Young, the worst.
Let's talk about Tyler Breeze.
Renee Young looks like she's on 5 forms of crack.
I was going to say, hopefully we don't get, like, movie monster Renee Young this year. And it's
and that's the thing, man. I freaking hate, like, actually having to talk about wrestling video games like this, because, and I feel like it's like, man, am I negative all the time about this freaking game? And it's like, but that's what they do to us every year. I mean, it ain't us, really. It ain't the wrestling game fans. I mean, they're a lot of ways are in the right. Every single year we get all these text documents put out there and all these posts saying, oh, we have this in the game, we have this. It sounds all great in this post I'm giving you. And then You either don't show it to us and we play it and find out it's horrible, or you do show it to us in a limited aspect to where it looks good, but then we play it and it is horrible. So, I mean, all this stuff sounds great on paper, and every year I think we all just hope and pray that it delivers, and some stuff does, some stuff doesn't. So it's always a wait and see how it happens game, because for some reason they want to tell you about all this new stuff and not show you one inkling of it until like a week before the game comes out.
And finally, on the features reveal, My Career. My Career also gets some exciting new features for 2K17. We incorporated the new promo engine so superstars can express themselves to the WWE Universe. And also call out and respond to other WWE superstars. Backstage interviews with Renee Young take on a whole new dimension to see what kind of monster she turns into. Also, they take on a whole new dimension with the backstage brawling gameplay, so then you can be Carmella and beat up Nikki Bella. Now more than ever, how a player competes, reacts, what is said, even what attire is worn can make a difference in the superstar's journey through the WWE. That statement there is very interesting to me there. At some point, players are also likely to come face-to-face with Brock Lesnar and his advocate, Paul Heyman. What happens when confronted by this imposing duo will greatly shape a player's future career growth in the WWE. Either you're with him or get 10 staples in your head. What a lot of what was said in My Career was basically said on Universe Mode 2, Matt. But I do find it interesting that what you wear could also affect your popularity, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it's intriguing. I like what they're saying. I've wanted My Career to be good so bad for these last 3 years, because I felt with every mode that they offered, My Career was where we had the opportunity for the most replay value, since they weren't fucking around with Universe and they were just kind of letting it sit there and not doing anything with it. If truly all this stuff in My Career is really there, and it's more in-depth, and there's more storylines, and it doesn't just feel like you're playing match after match after match, week after week after week, and nothing's happening, this could be a lot of fun. I will throw out one suggestion, and of course, who knows if they did this or not, but the fact that there's 22 women in the game this year, I think it would be really nice to be able to take a created woman superstar through My Career this year. I think with 22 characters, I think there's more than enough to work with. And I think it would just be a nice replay value base that you can go through once as a guy, go through once as a girl, you know, and if it's really fun, you want to go back in and do it again with somebody else. The more options you give us, the better it is, and I feel the ability to take a male or female superstar into My Career this year would be a very welcome addition.
That's for sure. As we wrap up our talk for 2K17 here, we'll start with you, Charles. What other announcements do you hope will come before October 11th?
Man, multiplayer universe.
Hell yeah.
Amen.
Servers that are going to work. Be able to play your game online and have fun.
Powered by GameSpy.
Ah!
Oh my god, I got a great GameSpy story.
I mean,
yeah. So
the more tweaks they give me on actual main gameplay, the better it'll be, because that's the main thing I'm looking at. I mean, I don't need a full feature set. I mean, I almost want you to build it from the ground up and give me a fun game to play.
I remember an old version of SmackDown vs. Raw. I think it was PS2, and I was sitting there playing, trying to find my buddy Chris online. What room you in? I'm in room such and such. He goes, I'm in room such and such. Oh, really? I don't see you. It's like we're in the same room, but we're not in the same lobby. I'm like, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, vintage PS2.
Oh, by the way, when they talked about Showcase this year, and they had the thing where they talked about viable. It wasn't viable due to historic WWE superstars not being available. Everybody in the world at that point in time had to think that we couldn't sign Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
I'm maybe shocked if no one else thought that.
Kurt Angle and the Hardy Boys were the ones that came to my mind immediately.
Yeah.
Because Brock Lesnar's main first few months of his WWE career were involved in feuding with Matt and Jeff Hardy. And, of course, that big WrestleMania 19 match with Kurt Angle, yeah, that definitely sprung to mind as well. I just hope we get a great... I want everything Charles said. I definitely want to see universe and my career in action in video form. So we know, they're not just blowing smoke, and what they're saying that sounds fun actually looks fun too. And I really hope the DLC packs that we get this year are extensive and have a lot of content in them. I hope we get some surprises. I hope we legitimately see the DLC, and I'm shocked by some of the additions that we get this year.
Who do you want to see as DLC this year?
I'd love Hulk Hogan. I'd love Kurt Angle. The Dudleys. The Hardy Boys would be really cool. But I mean, these are people that they probably tried to get that either couldn't get it done, or Vince said no, or a combination of the two.
Brother Nero.
Think about it this way: they have to, because of the way 2K Showcase, they have to really start working on that early.
Charles, what happened to your mic?
I have no idea. Let me see.
It sounds like he unplugged it and went to speakerphone. And Trevor, what other announcements do you hope come out before October 11th?
I just want to see more gameplay videos. I mean, I don't care about the stupid entrance videos, to be completely honest. I watch Raw and SmackDown every week. I know what a wrestler's entrance looks like. I mean, I know, showing one or two is cool, because then you kind of, get to see, what it, what's new and all that good stuff. But after that, it's just show me more gameplay. I want to see more gameplay. I want to see these modes you're talking about. I want to see, the promo engine in action. Just give me that stuff. But as far as
I think they're still stuck in the old days of THQ, where it's here's their entrance and this is who's on the roster, everybody.
Yeah.
See you at
exactly.
release day.
It's such it just feels like such an old school thing to do. And honestly, it didn't work for THQ. I don't know why 2K is following the same suit.
And finally, to wrap this all up, Matt, I'll ask you first. What does WWE 2K17 need to do to be successful in the eyes of the community this year?
It needs to have what the last two games didn't. It needs to have replay value. And it needs to have a very working and functional online. THQ was planning online universe for WWE 13 before the online server fiasco of WWE 12 happened, and then it all got thrown out the window. So, I mean, they were looking into online universe as early as freaking 5 years ago. If you can't freaking do it now, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to do it. And with all the improvements that they've done to universe this year, there is no time like the present to do online universes with your friends. Just like an online franchise or whatever. You could do an online universe, and you could have a group of friends, and they all control one guy or whatever. I think it would be amazing. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it just comes down to. Just give me a game where I want to pick it up and play it every day. And I used to be able to do that with WWE video games, and I can't anymore. And I want 2K to change it this year with 2K17.
Charles, what does 2K17 need to do to be successful in the eyes of the community this year?
Definitely replay value. It needs to be replay value. I need to have the gameplay that I want to come back and keep playing. I'm sure in their eyes they will want to keep playing it until the next game comes out. But, I mean, until they have the full replay value, they have servers that work, they have an environment online that people want to actually come and have a good time and play the game with their friends and enjoy themselves. I mean, it's just how many years? We've been so many years into it now that it's pretty much okay. The game launched and we know it's going to be a horrible online experience. And last year it was, wow, community creation is actually working pretty well. Then they patched the game and it killed itself. So it's just, there needs to be a stable environment and all these different things. And I would love to see multiplayer universe. I think with all the changes that they did to universe this year, I would like to think that it would be in this year, but I would think all the changes they did, it wouldn't be until next year if they are working on it. Just because all the other stuff they might have did. But yeah, I mean, at the core of it, it needs to have fun gameplay that I constantly want to come back to, and then all the other stuff is just icing on the cake if all the stuff, on paper comes to fruition the way they make it sound. But honestly, track record doesn't show that.
Matt, do you think Online Universe will be announced this year?
Whether I want it to be or whether I think it's going to be are two totally different things. I don't think it's going to be in. But I would love 2K to prove me wrong. I would be absolutely ecstatic to see that added this year.
And finally, Trevor, what do you see? What does 2K17 need to do to be successful in the eyes of the community this year?
It needs to be fun. I mean, when it all comes down to it, it needs to be something fun that people can actually recommend to their friends. I mean, if I have friends that aren't like really into wrestling or just like casually into wrestling, like I still don't like have a feeling where I'm like, hey man, you should play this game. It's usually just like, well, I play this game every year because I'm hardcore and I didn't really play it that much this year. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the replayability. Definitely better online components in general would help with that because it would actually give you a reason to actually play it consistently. So yeah, I mean, I'm with Charles and Matt here.
Like, here's a perfect example when it comes to like the fun factor of the way this series has been going, in my opinion. Year or so ago, I think it was when 2K, a couple years ago, 2K15 came out, and I had that game for a while, and then I wasn't playing it, and my brother was like, hey man, let me borrow some games or whatever, what do you have or whatever, and he says, do you have any sports games or anything? And I said, well, I don't really play sports games, and the sports games I do have, you already have them, because he's huge into sports games, and they don't play wrestling games, him or his buddy. So I was like, here, I have, he says, do you have any of those wrestling games? And I said, yeah, and I gave him 2K15, and I gave him WWE All-Stars. Talked to him a couple of days later after the weekend was over, and he says, yeah, you can have 2K15 back. That freaking All-Stars game is so fun. And next thing I know, the following weekend, I'm over his house. There's 4 of us playing, and we played for like 4 hours straight, 4 people in the living room. And that just shows you, people that don't even play wrestling games will pick that game up and have a fun time. 2K needs to have that.
Well, that's going to wrap up our roundtable for WWE 2K17. Of course, as more news hits, we will talk about it. We may get the group together also just before release to talk about
what I was going to say when my mic crapped out. Matt was talking about like he would love to see Kurt Angle and the Hardy Boys and stuff like that. I still wouldn't count them out because they have to start working on Showcase really, really early. They could have signed them guys later enough and still been able to put them in there.
That would be awesome.
They just couldn't give them the time to get Showcase done.
That's true. The roster is so extensive right now. With 4 DLC packs, you're left to kind of wonder, who exactly is DLC? Like, besides, like, here to me, the only 2 guaranteed people right now that's DLC is Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Mm-hmm. Like, I would even go as far as to say I would not be surprised if they're the season pass exclusive. Like, that's what I would do. I'd put them in the damn seat. You want the club? Buy the season pass. That's what I would do, because I think that would sell your season pass to people who wouldn't normally buy it. I would put the club in the season pass. But beyond that, I don't know who's going to be DLC this year, and it's actually kind of exciting because the roster is so extensive already that I'm left questioning. I'm like, wow, who do they have left to put in as DLC? So with 4 packs, I'm really excited to see who we end up getting this year.
Yeah, definitely. So once news breaks on anything related to 2K17, we will let you know here on Lost in the Midcard. Trevor, Charles, thanks a lot for joining us, and we hope to have you guys back just before the launch of the game. We'll talk about what we have seen between now and then. And as we go into headlines here this week, the major news was some sad news, obviously, from just the day after SummerSlam. We have learned that Finn Balor has a torn labrum. He actually popped his shoulder back into place during the match so he could finish the match against Seth Rollins, which is insane. But unfortunately, the very first title run for the Universal Champion is at 1 day, Matt. That's not a good thing for Raw, is it?
Oh, it was a total downer. I was trying to get to sleep Sunday night, and I think Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, broke the news at like 2:28 in the morning, and it was literally the last thing I saw before I, was laying down to go to bed, and it was just it wasn't bad enough that most of SummerSlam kind of sucked. But one of the great things about SummerSlam, to hear that it was all for nothing, essentially, was just a real bummer. Super disappointing. The only good thing we can say is that he's already had the surgery. It was a success, and most experts are saying 4 to 6 months for his return. I'm calling it right here, just like I called it on Twitter earlier this week. Finn Balor will return at the Royal Rumble. He will win it, and he will challenge for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania.
And we'll get into what the plans are for the Universal Championship when we cover Raw, and some interesting developments coming in and out of that as well. Big Name was seen at SummerSlam, but don't read anything into it. I can never say his first name.
Say Okada.
We'll just say Okada. Okada was backstage. Obviously, Ring of Honor was Death Before Dishonor was in Vegas, so Okada was then decided to hop cross country to New York and see his good buddy Shinsuke Nakamura, because they are getting ready for Field of Honor coming up pretty soon. So as much as I'd love to read into that, Matt, we just know he was there to see Nakamura.
Well, there's absolutely no reason to read into it, because he was at SummerSlam last year too, visiting Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
He's just there exchanging pleasantries, visiting his friends. It's clear that a lot of his friends work for the WWE now. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Rainmaker might eventually show up in a WWE or NXT ring. But it's surely not going to be happening right now. So
no.
Don't read too much into this internet, because there's really nothing to the story.
And we'll talk about Death Before Dishonor. Actually, not this week, because we went pretty long with 2K. But we will go over it quickly next week and see where they go from here with the title change, obviously, now on Adam Cole. Some interesting stats from SummerSlam. John Cena is on a losing streak. He has lost every match at SummerSlam since 2011. Randy Orton and Cesaro are both on 3-year losing streaks. Brock Lesnar has main evented 3 straight SummerSlams. And except in 2013 when he was not on the card, The Miz has been part of the Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam since 2012.
That's crazy.
Kind of crazy how Cena has lost every one. That's 5 straight SummerSlams Cena has lost.
Did you see the tweet that was going around on Sunday night? It was the beat John Cena's ass SummerSlam World Tour.
No.
And they had this. I didn't realize that he'd lost every year either, and they list all the years that he lost. And it goes 2016 AJ Styles, 2017 Shinsuke Nakamura, 2018 Bayley.
And
I was just like, that's hilarious.
It didn't register at first, and then I was like, oh! I don't know if this means something or not. Now, after Raw, I'm saying no, but Velvet Sky has announced that she is now accepting limited bookings and appearances. The former knockout and 2-time women's champion Velvet Sky will now be accepting limited appearances and bookings. She is a 12-year veteran of the sport of professional wrestling. Once we knew that the Dudley Boys were going to announce a breakup, we thought, oh, okay, well, Bubba's going to turn on Devon, and in comes Velvet Sky, but things got a little different there, and so that is a good segue into Mike Johnson from PW Insider yesterday saying that the Dudley Boys' farewell was legitimate. Matt, is that kind of surprising?
It surprised the hell out of me, and it honestly made me feel bad, because the whole day leading up to, they say goodbye on Twitter in the afternoon, and they do the segment in the layout, and all I'm thinking about is what's going to happen next. And I'm like, this is great. Club and Dudley Boys feud. I'm down with that. That sounds cool. They'll be gone for a few weeks, and then when the New Day faces the Club at Clash of Champions, the Dudleys will return and cost the Club the match, and then we're going to get a Club and Dudleys feud, and that'll be cool. And to find out later on that night that the contract extension that they were going to sign, something fell through, and both parties decided that they didn't want to do it, and that they really were gone. I felt bad, because I felt the whole thing was a work, and to find out that at the end of the day that it was actually a shoot, I feel like I didn't truly appreciate the segment the way that I would have had I known that it was truly goodbye. I kind of really legitimately felt bad about it.
There were hundreds of people making the joke on Twitter that the Dudleys were going to come out in salmon jackets like Mark Henry did. We all thought a swerve was coming. We all thought either Bubba was going to turn on Devon. And then what happened on Monday got us excited, thinking, oh, they're not retiring because, they just signed an extension.
Yeah.
But then we hear this news. Who knows what happens, though? I mean, the door's probably still open, and obviously there is a written-in thing to do for them if they do return, and that is to feud with Anderson and Gallows.
And also keep in mind on the Velvet Sky front that there's been a lot of rumors of when the Cruiserweight tournament ends that they were going to do a women's tournament as well, showcasing all the independent women talent from all over the world. So if they do go with that and Velvet is now taking limited bookings, maybe Velvet's going to be a part of that women's tournament. So cool. I mean that could be what that's about. I mean, we don't know.
That'd be great to have Jessica Havoc, Awesome Kong, Mickey James. That'd be have her
tons of people from Shimmer and Shine. You know, there's a lot of women out there.
Steal some Women of Honor.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of the Women of Honor aren't actually under Ring of Honor deals. So, they could go in...
Per appearance?
Yeah, they can go in and swipe those people right up. So, yeah, I think they could do something really cool with this.
Well, they could easily get a Deonna Purrazzo. I heard she's taking on Taylor Hendricks coming up for Women of Honor.
Yep.
5 guys have been officially announced to be set to debut on Raw on September 19th, which is the Monday after the Cruiserweight Classic Finals. We will definitely get to see on Monday Night Raw Brian Kendrick, T.J. Perkins, Noam Dar, Rich Swann, and Cedric Alexander. Matt, I am excited for all 5 of those guys.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, that's just
all 5,
and that's just the start.
That's just
because who knows who else they're gonna. I'm sure they'll probably announce more names next Monday. Yep. But I'm super excited for this Cruiserweight division to come to Raw, and I think it'll add a new flavor to that 3-hour show that's desperately needed right now.
Does this tell you these 5 guys are not winning it? Well, Alexander's gone, but the other 4 guys are still in it. So that does that?
I think honestly, I think the stock rose on all 4 of those guys as having greater chances of winning now, because I'm telling you right now, they're not letting anybody win the Cruiserweight Classic that's not going to sign with that company.
But if they just held off on,
have
they held off on a guy like Zack Sabre Jr. and wait to announce it until he wins it?
As far as I heard, Zack Sabre Jr. has personal things to deal with this year and will not be able to sign with the company until sometime in 2017. So no, I think Noam Dar will beat Zack Sabre Jr. in the next round of the tournament. I thought Noam Dar being in that promo on Raw, as soon as I saw them, I'm like, wow, I think they're going to put him over Zack Sabre. I think Brian Kendrick's going to beat Kota Ibushi. And who knows what's going to happen between Rich Swann and Perkins, because they were both in the promo.
They face each other.
Yeah,
so that'll be a great match.
Yeah, you never know who's going to win that one. But yeah, I don't feel we're done here. Like I really don't.
We'll cover the Cruiserweight Classic here to close Lost in the Midcard. Again, another phenomenal show as we now are in the round of 8, which they call the Great 8. Austin Aries is always great. He took to Twitter and said, ruptured eardrum at NXT TakeOver thanks to sockless loafer boy, Hideo Itami. Won't cost much to repair, but I'll save the receipt for you. Was he legit hurt, or is this just
Not that I heard. I heard there were no injuries coming out of TakeOver. I know.
I love that he called him sockless loafer boy.
I know Mike Johnson confirmed on the Taz show Tuesday morning that Joe's quote-unquote dislocated jaw was at work. He was not hurt. It was a story.
Really?
Yeah, it was a storyline. which I've been telling people all weekend, but now we need Mike Johnson to clarify it. So thank you, Mike. It was a total work. He did not dislocate his jaw. He was just selling very well, just like Sami Zayn sold the ankle on Raw. Not hurt, all work, not really injured. But man, we should have Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn, and who can sell an injury better? Sometime within
My God, they're both dead.
So, but yeah, I mean, there was everybody came out of TakeOver doing good.
And continuing on the Twitter thing, Seth Rollins took to Twitter yesterday afternoon and just said simply, "Thank you, Finn."
Yeah, I have no idea what that's about.
I don't know if that was smartass.
Maybe it was something that was meant. Maybe he meant to DM it. Like I don't know. Like the context of the thing, that just leaving it at that, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I don't know I don't know the meaning behind it. I mean, everybody can speculate, but yeah, I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Ratings this week, Impact takes a sharp tick up to 355,000 viewers, which is up from 315. 355 was kind of about the benchmark of residuals after the final deletion before they kind of dropped off the last 2 weeks. But we're going to briefly talk about Impact this week. But Impact was pretty good this week, Matt. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I feel like I did, but I've watched so much wrestling in the past week, I can't even remember it.
That was day one of the marathon, so we'll cover it quickly and see if you recall anything. The Raw audience increased, got over 3 million by a nice amount, 3.3 million. Actually, the almost matching the brand split show. So the first show after the brand split. So a nice rebound for Raw. Now, SummerSlam was lackluster in some people's minds. We gave it a solid B minus.
As I say, I say C plus B minus.
Were people expecting something crazy to happen, or were that many people expecting Bayley, and so that's why they tuned in?
I just thought the flow of the show, the flow of the show sucked. And I didn't like the creative ending of the last two matches of the show, which definitely leave a lasting impression. And I didn't like a lot of the creative decisions throughout the show. Like I feel like I only agreed with a handful.
So I'm talking about, why did the Raw rating increase by so much? Is it the anticipation of Bayley? Is it the night after SummerSlam is like WrestleMania?
It's the night after SummerSlam is like the night after Mania.
Surprises happen?
Yeah, I feel people tune in because the number jumps every year after WrestleMania, regardless of how the show is. So I feel like the number jumps after SummerSlam too.
Big first hour for Raw, almost 3.5 million, but then of course they drop off in hour 3 down to 3.1. As for SmackDown Live, they also got an uptick in viewership, almost the same amount of an increase, almost 300,000 viewers. It jumps up to 2.714 million. That puts it at the third best rating since the brand split, with the first week obviously the biggest, and then the second week after that being the second most watched SmackDown Live. With the events of SummerSlam, as I say this tongue-in-cheek, WWE took stiff action against Brock Lesnar by fining him $500.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Bayley took to Instagram. She obviously debuted on Raw this past Monday, and she posted on her Instagram account, "Dear NXT, today I went to the Performance Center and had to clean out my locker. After almost 4 years with NXT, it's time for me to step away and the new crop of women to step up. I am so confident in the division and know we will see it be taken to newer heights. I've seen FCW shows grow from 12 people in the crowd to NXT pay-per-views with 15,000 in Brooklyn. NXT is my life. It's everything I am, everything I ever wanted in wrestling. The roster, the coaches, our bosses, our fans, all of it is everything I ever wanted. I couldn't have dreamt up a better journey. I couldn't have asked for a better support and love that all of you have embraced me with. I love this industry with all of my heart, but I mean this when I say it. I would not be able to do things I've done without you guys. Your fans, you fans match our passion with everything we give you in the ring. You give us right back as fans, and that is what makes NXT special. That's what I'll miss the most. I'll miss my NXT family backstage. I'll miss those once-in-a-lifetime moments like doing Finn Balor's entrance or teaming up with Shinsuke Nakamura or standing in the ring for 10 minutes as you guys sing a song. I'll miss the proud feeling of being a part of it all, but I know it'll continue, and I never will stop chasing that feeling. I'm beyond excited to bring everything you taught me to the WWE. Thank you for the memories. As always, we are NXT. Great stuff from Bayley there, and as she mentioned, time for the new crop of women to step up, and I think they did a pretty cool job at TakeOver Brooklyn with a segment they aired on NXT tonight with Ember Moon and Bayley. Matt, I thought that was pretty cool that Ember interrupts Bayley during her interview, and then they it's almost kind of a passing of the torch type of deal, don't you think?
I guess. I thought it took a lot of the mystique away from the Ember Moon character very quickly. When they were portraying her as like a Mortal Kombat character with the red eyes, and she's just back there talking to Bayley like she's just a normal girl. I felt it killed a little bit of her mystique so quickly out of the gate. But yeah, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to establish her as the big time babyface to take over when with Bayley gone. Because Asuka's kind of tweenerish. So
I was fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean, she can still do that stuff in the ring and be intimidating. I think we already have kind of a machine-like character, a ninja-like character in Asuka. So I think this is kind of a cool moment for Ember Moon. I don't think it really didn't take the mystique off of anything because of what she can do in the ring. The second part of the CM Punk documentary is now online on YouTube under Fox Sports 1. I have yet to watch the second one, but I will here as soon as I get a little bit of time. Matt, have you had the opportunity to see it yet?
Not the second. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, so definitely the first one was a great one, so definitely looking forward to continue watching that. Monday Night Raw this week, night after SummerSlam. Obviously, the news broke early in the day, and Mick Foley took to Twitter about an hour before Raw started and said that Stephanie and I accept Finn Balor relinquishing the Universal Championship. So they started off Raw with the commissioner and the GM in the ring, and called out Finn Balor. Finn Balor with a big ovation from the Brooklyn crowd, and his right arm in a sling. Fans chanted, "You deserve it." He said that at SummerSlam he became the Universal Champion, and coincidentally enough, Matt, when he said that, there was a red belt sucks sign right behind him. So he thanked the WWE, and Mick took the title off his shoulder and gave him a hug. Very uncomfortable moment, and you could tell in reality how emotional Foley was even at having to do that. Because I think that's probably something Foley hasn't really had to do in his career on a live mic is something where a star has to walk away for 6 months, and you got to talk about it. You could really see the true emotion out of Foley in there, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that it sucks. Nobody liked it. It left a whole damper on SummerSlam. It left a black cloud hovering over Raw even before Raw started. It just fucking sucked.
Yeah. Seth Rollins came out and had a big grin on his face because he's a jerk. Do you think this would have been a good time for him to turn face and with the absence of Balor? Do you think this would have been a good time for him to be humble and kind of a Jay Lethal type of face turn? Or do you like how it progressed with Rollins?
I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I didn't. I'm very indifferent on it right now.
So would you rather see Rollins stay heel right now?
Probably not, but I mean, we don't always get what we want from WWE. So, yeah, I always think he just wrestles better as a babyface.
Rollins assumed they were just going to hand the title to him, but no. Sami Zayn comes out. Chris Jericho comes out. Kevin Owens comes out. Enzo and Cass even come out. Roman Reigns comes out. And Mick Foley says, well, everybody in this ring is deserving of a championship opportunity. Even Enzo? Foley said they'll do a series of matches leading to a new Universal Champion next week. And next up is Rollins versus Sami Zayn. So then, Sami Zayn and Rollins, that writes itself. A great match between those guys went about 13 minutes. Towards the end, Zayn set up for a Helluva Kick, but Rollins kneed him in the head, and then Rollins stops on the sore right ankle of Sami Zayn, which, earlier on he had people thought he landed wrong and thought he was really hurt, as Matt just said. Rollins applied an ankle lock with a heel hook, but Zayn got to the ropes. Zayn hits a suplex. Rollins counters into the pedigree for the 1-2-3. So Seth Rollins moves on, which I think didn't surprise anybody there, Matt.
No, I get the only thing I can say about it is at least they kept Sammy strong with the fake injury storyline. But I don't see any reason why Sammy couldn't have been in the 4-way next week, like over Big Cat. Like, no offense. But there's so many better people on Raw that could have been in the spot over him.
I just don't get why the WWE's punishing him for having a match of the year. Yeah,
like, I don't like Cesaro could have been in that spot. They could have had match 2 of Cesaro and Sheamus. The winner of match 2 of that best of 7 series would be put in the 4-way next week. They could have had that. They could have put Zayn in there. Jericho could have even been in there. Like, I don't understand the inclusion of Big Cass in this 4-way next week. It really just screams like, what the fuck? Like,
we'll get into that in a minute, but the next match after that was Kevin Owens and Neville. I like that Neville was put in a spot. We know he's not going to win, but
I'll tell you why I hated it.
Why?
Because Neville didn't come out at the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
like, I felt that anybody who didn't come out at the beginning of the show had no chance of this. No. Like why are you all of a sudden in this if WWE didn't deem you important enough to come to the ring before the matches started? Like, I feel if anybody that was in these matches should have came to the ring to want to be Universal Champion before these matches started. By just throwing Neville in there, like, I knew he wasn't going to win. Like, there wasn't a doubt in my mind. I'm like, oh, okay, so who's he losing to? Oh, Kevin Owens. Okay, like,
but it was cool to see that he was considered among the 8 people for a chance to get into this title shot next week.
I think it would have meant more if he would have come out at the beginning of the show.
I agree. Owens avoids a red arrow and hits a super kick. Neville gets a roll up for a 2 count to counter the pop up power bomb of Kevin Owens. Neville then hits an enziguri. And then Jericho comes out to provide a distraction. Neville kicks Jericho in the face, and then Neville kicks Owens, but Owens trips him up on the top rope, puts Neville on his shoulders into a spinning neck breaker, and gets the 1-2-3 there. So pretty cool to see a non-finisher get a win every once in a while on a television show. I like how the finisher doesn't always have to happen to get the job done, and it doesn't have to be a roll-up also.
It might be his new secondary finisher.
Yeah, but a good match from Owens and Neville. Went 10 minutes. Obviously, Jericho helping Kevin Owens there. The other matches in for the chance to go into the Fatal 4-Way on Raw next week or coming up were Big Cass against Rusev and Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho. The New Day come out. And Michael Cole announces that it is now 365 days for their tag team title reign. And Big E doing some gyrations. Kofi noting that they've been champions for a year. The crowd chanting "New Day rocks." Kingston thanks them for being responsible for this title run because they were vocal during the good times and the bad times. The power of positivity. Xavier Woods says in order to celebrate this, they have a unicorn piñata before they get too far into that Gallows and Anderson ruin the party because that's what they do. Gallows says this whole thing is stupid, and wondered why they were celebrating. Anderson pointed out that we won the match at SummerSlam, and Gallows said that even though Big E saved Jon Stewart from ring post-itis, New Day lost the match. Gallows said they're owed a tag team title rematch, and also asked if Kofi enjoyed that Magic Killer he got at SummerSlam. So that basically just kind of a promo to continue the feud, and then that led into a quick 4-minute match between Big E and Carl Anderson, where Big E gets the win.
Yeah, talk about another guy who should have been in the 4-way over Big Cass. How about Big E?
Yeah, I saw you tweet that. I would agree. They showed a clip of their the Dudleys WWE debut on September 2nd, 1999. As they get ready for the goodbye celebration. Then next up, unfortunately, Titus O'Neil was on the microphone.
This was brutal.
That went over like a lead balloon, and he could not recover.
This might have been one of the worst live promos I've heard on Raw in a really long time.
Ugh, it was not good. Backlund came down to the ring, and O'Neil tossed him into the turnbuckle. Backlund then tried to put on the crossface chicken wing, but Titus got out of it, kicked him.
Tried would be a key word. It looked like he forgot how to put it on.
O'Neil got out of it, kicked him, and hit a body slam before Darren Young ran out. Then O'Neil hits Clash of the Titus on Darren Young, so that ended that awkwardly bad segment.
Can this feud just go straight to Superstars and get off Monday Night Raw, please?
After that terrible promo, it may have.
I hope so, because I'm done with it.
Stephanie is interviewed by Tom Phillips backstage, and Tom was asking if there would be any repercussions for what Lesnar did, and she said, Lesnar crossed the line and there will be repercussions.
Swerve!
Lana in a beautiful dress, introducing Rusev, but she's not as chipper as she used to be because Rusev got the shit beat out of him by Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Enzo and Cass come out and do their usual song and dance. And so Big Cass taking on Rusev. Rusev obviously has the taped up ribs, selling the beatdown that Roman Reigns gave him. In the end, Rusev with a kick to the head, but then Cass comes out with a big boot to the face. I love Cass's big boot. That's always well done. Rusev's outside of the ring. He's crawling away, but then walks up to the ramp and just says, fuck it. Gets himself counted out, so Big Cass wins and moves on.
Yeah, and this was another match, just like Neville, where you knew who was going to win immediately because Rusev didn't come out at the beginning of the show. Why does the United States champion, the guy who claims to have the most important title on the show, not want to fight for the other title? Like, it just didn't make any sense. They could have spent 60 seconds more and brought both Neville and Rusev out there to make those matches mean more, and they didn't do it.
And flip it to the other side of the show where you got the Miz thinking he's got the most important title, and he cut the promo of his life on Talking Smack, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about that.
Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens are interviewed by Philip or Tom or Jim or Bob. And Jericho asked, talked about how he's going to be the champion of the universe. And he said, you're welcome to Owens for helping him. Jericho also put in the word glorious, and that popped the Brooklyn crowd and probably popped the internet too when he said the word glorious.
Well, Bobby Roode put out a tweet about 2 minutes after the promo and said, did somebody say glorious? Hashtag Raw. So
who'd have thought we'd be talking a lot about the word glorious in the WWE?
Dude, it's like selling a shit ton of songs on iTunes, man.
I know.
It's pretty freaking incredible.
As always, Jericho and Owens great together. And, of course, they got to throw Tom Phillips in there because they always work well with him, too. The new women's champion, Charlotte, comes out in street clothes with Dana Brooke, who looks like she's ready to wrestle. That should be a precursor for you there. Brooke tried to start a "You Deserve It" chant for Charlotte. Yeah, that went over like a lead balloon. Charlotte starts to brag and uses some Olympic references and such, and says that the Queen has come back to reclaim her throne. Cue Mick Foley, which we all were excited for because we knew it was coming. He walks down to the ring and says congratulations to Charlotte for raising the bar with Sasha Banks, as they did put on a pretty good match. The crowd's chanting, "We want Bayley." They must read the internet, right? Wink, wink. He said that Banks, when Banks returns from her back injury, she will be granted a rematch for the Women's Championship. And Charlotte goes, "Well, I deserve the night off." And Foley says, "Well, there are aspects of the job that are heartbreaking," referencing Balor earlier in the day. But he goes, "There's also things about this job that bring him joy." And they have signed the hottest free agent and the newest member to the Raw Women's Division. It's Bayley. Cue the applause, Matt.
Yay!
As always, a great debut when we anticipate it. Great reaction for Bayley. Fans chanting, "You deserve it." Great, and she goes to Foley and says, "Maybe we should seal the deal with a hug right here in Brooklyn, New York." And that was pretty fun. Charlotte isn't impressed. She goes, "There was a reason that Bayley was left behind at the Revolution. Ooh, burn!" And now Bayley's here to upstage her. Bayley cut her off and said, "I would never try to upstage you, but I will challenge for that title." That got a nice little pop from the crowd. But Charlotte's not dressed to fight, but oh, look, Brooke is. So we get Bayley versus Brooke. This went all of 4 minutes. I think Brooke is getting a little better in the ring, though, Matt. Still need to see a lot longer match for us to take her seriously, but I think she's getting there, don't you think?
Slowly but surely. I just feel her entire main roster run has been stunted due to the injury to Emma.
Yeah.
And I feel it's like a really hard thing to recover from, because I don't really think she was meant to come up to be in the ring very much.
No.
Like, to be, like, consistently. I really think she was up there, to learn while you're up there, to do the house show work and all that stuff. But when Emma went down, they had to completely change their plan.
You know when Emma comes back?
I don't. Hopefully soon.
That'd be a great face turn to have a badass Emma as a face, and they turn on Charlotte. I think that'd be kind of fun.
They could.
Bayley to belly after 4 minutes, and Bayley gets her win after her Raw debut, because, she was going to lose to Dana Brooke in her debut. Mm-hmm.
It's great that Bayley's finally on Raw. And there were a lot of congratulatory tweets from the women on both shows during Bayley's segment, but I felt Nikki Bella's tweet probably stood out more than any of the other girls, and I feel like she really put Bayley over in a big way.
What did she say?
She tweeted, "Aw, yay, at It's Bayley WWE, finally on #Raw. She should have been there with the others, but they always save the best for last. So proud."
Awesome. They show clips for the Cruiserweight Challenge and announce that the Cruiserweights will be here on September 19th, as we said earlier. Guys like Rich Swann, Noam Dar, Brian Kendrick, T.J. Perkins were in that commercial. Sheamus is interviewed backstage in street clothes, saying his series with Cesaro continues next week. That's a tough couple of words to say. Series with Cesaro. Sheamus said that Cesaro is like the Suicide Squad of the WWE, full of hype but under-delivers. Hey, I like that movie.
I liked it too. Fuck you, Sheamus.
There you go. Double fuck yous, too. We're going to do the fuck you dance to Sheamus. And then he did the cheap heat with the New York sports teams. Braun Strowman enters the arena, and his opponent this week is Johnny Knockout, and that's pretty apropos because he's probably going to get knocked the fuck out. And Byron asks him why he's doing this, and he goes, "Well, I like big, sweaty men." Okay.
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't paying attention during this segment. I can't believe he actually said that.
Twitter went off. Twitter went off. Oh, there's your LGBT angle. It's for a jobber.
Wow. No, I did not. I didn't even catch that. I was legitimately not paying attention. Like I will be a lot more excited when I finally get my Nia Jax, Braun Strowman Jobber Gauntlet battle.
Well, Mr. Knockout, well, you're in the right profession and you're facing the right opponent at least. So, Johnny Knockout got knocked the fuck out. It did take about 2 minutes though, so I think Braun was just he wanted some more camera time this week. Yeah, he wanted some camera time this week. When he went to attack him after the match, I thought, oh, maybe this is where we get our first challenger to get fed to Braun Strowman. That we know the name of, but no. Next up is the Dudleys farewell. I don't know. It's hard telling with this crowd because this crowd is a lot of the smart internet crowd. So I would assume most of them thought it was a work, but at the same time, I think they reacted. They reacted like it was a farewell. Still, I
think they were respectful to the storyline. I would like to believe a lot of people there also thought it was a work, but were still respectful anyway. Like I said, I feel like I would have felt completely different watching that segment, knowing it was for real, instead of believing that it was a work.
Bubba kicked off with saying he doesn't get very emotional, but tonight might be a little different. He said, a year ago in this very building, in this very ring, in this very city, their pyro went off and surprised us all. We had no clue they were coming. And he said the Dudleys were back home in the WWE. Sometimes the fans loved them, sometimes the fans hated them, but they knew the fans respected them because they busted their ass for the fans for 20 years. Fans chanted "Testify" as Devon was getting ready to speak. Devon says, it's been one hell of a year, one hell of a career. 20 years he's been up and down the highway with this man, creating history. Devon mentioned the legendary matches like the TLC match, which people still talked about as one of the greatest matches of all time. Devon talks about the great teams like Edge and Christian, and then he says the Hardy Boys. And that got a huge pop, followed by a delete chant from Brooklyn. How great was that, man?
I laughed. I thought it was great. The fact that there's finally a TNA storyline that is crossing over to the WWE audience of fans, I think is fantastic. And that's a true testament. Vince didn't have a fucking clue. I think it was a true testament to both Matt and Jeff Hardy for what they've been able to accomplish over the last couple months. Because they're pretty much single-handedly carrying TNA on their backs right now, storyline-wise.
And now that Jeff's broken, that just adds a new dimension to things.
Can't wait for Broken Rebby.
We will. I'd like to break her. We'll talk about TNA and we'll talk about TNA here in a little bit. But the Devon goes on to say, without the WWE universe, there would be no Dudley Boys. Bubba said that most of the time it's them cheering for us, but he wanted the fans to stand up so he could give the fans a round of applause. I thought that was really cool of Bubba to do. He spoke about how in the business and the industry, you don't always go out on your own terms. He said, this is us going out on our own terms, with Devon going, oh, my brother, testify. Then the shining stars of Puerto Rico come out.
I was hoping this was Carlito's big return.
That'd be great. They say the Dudleys are washed up. The fans chanting for tables right away, because we all know what's going to happen. Epico said they wanted to give the Dudleys a special going-away gift, so they got them 2 tickets to the island of Puerto Rico. Yeah, that went over real well, as the Dudleys beat down Primo and Epico, hit a 3D on Epico, and then they did the wazap to Primo. And, it's time for Devon to get the tables. And I love it, just how loud the crowd is when they chant "get the tables." And Bubba did this early in their return, Matt. Where he counted the 1, 2, 3. I don't think he probably didn't do it right away, but early in their return this past year, doing the 1, 2, 3, and you would get almost the loudest crowd reaction of the night when they yelled at the tables. I loved it. But, they're interrupted by Gallows and Anderson, which made Matt and I giddy because we thought the Dudleys and the club were going to feud because we still thought the Dudleys were under contract. The club beats down the Dudleys, and that is the end of that. And then we go on to learn that that was the end of that for now. But I thought it was a great segment. Now that we know the truth, even more great heat for the club. Did you enjoy the farewell?
Like I said, dude, I felt a completely different way about it watching it to how I feel now. I would truly have to go back and watch the segment again, knowing legitimately that it was their last time we were going to see them. For me to truly know how I would have felt, I really don't know. Like, the whole thing sucks. I hate the fact that they're gone. I feel that they didn't get nearly as much out of them as they should have in the past year, and that squarely falls on WWE Creative.
Yeah, exactly. Then the main event of the evening, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns. I said on Twitter, I have an inkling Chris Jericho is going to win. I was wrong. But good match, though. This was Raw for having to do this on the fly. It was disjointed at times. It was booked oddly at times, but the matches on Raw were great, and Jericho and Reigns was no exception. There were some great near falls, especially when Jericho at the end landed the code breaker. I thought, oh, yeah, it's gonna happen. No, but Reigns kicks out at the last minute. Jericho slaps him upside the head a few times to piss off Roman Reigns, and that ended with a Superman punch and on Kevin Owens as Owens came back out to help Jericho, and then a spear on Jericho for the win after about 14 minutes. So Roman Reigns, Big Cass, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins are in for the Fatal 4-Way next week on Raw for the Raw Universal title. Matt and I talked about this on Twitter. Matt's fearing the worst with this, and I'm still sticking to my guns. I think the fact that they put the Universal title on someone new like Finn Balor leads me to believe that they are going to put the title on Kevin Owens next Monday night, Matt.
Dude, I would love that. I would be ecstatic, but I think the title's going on Roman Reigns. I think Vince is like, you had your Finn Balor chance, but now we're going to go back with what I want.
Roman!
That means the guy's getting the title, bitch. I want to be wrong, but I feel the reason why we didn't get the title match in Brooklyn was because they knew the fucking shitbed they would have been lying in by putting the title back on Roman Reigns on Monday night. I really feel like he's getting the title next week.
I wonder where they're at next week.
Texas.
Oh, that's right. No, I'm gonna still say they had a plan for Finn Balor, so I think they're gonna just do that plan with Kevin Owens.
I hope you're right, dude.
But I enjoyed the matches of Raw. Just it was disjointed and obviously so. I mean, you had to book on the fly basically. What do you think, Vince? Oh, I like that Big Cass. Yeah, put him in there. Yeah, pal. Yeah, I like that guy. But let's go to SmackDown, where I said 10 minutes into SmackDown has already beat Raw. Mm-hmm. And I said Raw was good, and 10 minutes into SmackDown already beat Raw. So, hey, there you go. The show starts off. This is in Uncasville, Connecticut. I've never even heard of that town. Is where SmackDown is. And the show starts with people chatting it up in the locker room. Baron Corbin, Eric Rowan, Apollo Crews, Rhino. Dolph Ziggler's got his hands in his head there on a chair. AJ Styles walks in calling himself the new face that runs the place, brags about beating up John Cena. He had a token from the match at SummerSlam, and he pulls out John Cena's Never Give Up armband and puts it on his head. And then Styles mocks Ziggler because SummerSlam just wasn't his night. And that led to a headbutt and a punch from Ziggler, and everybody broke it up. I thought that was a great start to SmackDown. I thought it was fresh and different.
Yep, definitely showed off Dolph Ziggler being a little bitch.
It also showed off how great of a heel AJ Styles is too.
AJ Styles is amazing.
I love it.
And right, he walked in the locker room, and Ryder was looking at him like, "Are we back in TNA? What's going on here?"
Oh boy! Hey, where's Rude, Aries, and Joe? Well, they're coming.
They're coming. I actually think Samoa Joe's coming quicker than you think, and we'll talk about that a little later on.
Okay. The ring, after the intro, the ring is full of women and tag teams, and the brand new titles are on display. And unlike the Universal title, these titles were universally approved by the WWE Universe. I love them. I love the blue on that women's title. I love that blue background, and the silver on blue on the tag straps, man.
I never knew those tag team title plates could look good.
The bronze ones,
because they look so shitty as the copper bronze titles, but those plates done in silver instead actually look really sharp. And the dark blue strap is really cool. I like them both. I don't have an issue with either of them. Granted, it's lack of creative energy, but both titles still look better than the Universal Championship.
I don't know if it's creative energy or they just want continuity. I don't know what is the drive there. I wanted to say continuity. I want to give them credit in this part.
I think I saw somebody on my timeline tonight that said WWE spent their entire budget on the Cruiserweight Classic trophy, and that's why all the titles look the same.
The commissioner, Shane McMahon, GM, Daniel Bryan make their entrances. I don't mind the fact that we get an entrance for these guys all the time because we get Daniel Bryan's entrance every time, so that's perfectly fine.
Let me just say, I love the new SmackDown set.
Oh yeah, the new set, very cool. So and it, they're kind of slowly but surely differentiating Raw and SmackDown, which is something they needed to do.
Oh yeah.
Shane says there's a huge opportunity in front of you guys. The 6 women in the women's division: Carmella, Naomi, Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, Natalya, and Alexa Bliss.
Because Eva Marie could not be here tonight.
Thank you. And the crowd chanting for Becky. That was pretty cool. And also announced at Backlash they will crown tag team champions. And then our favorite guy comes in to interrupt, Heath Slater. I want a free agent shirt. Mainly because I want to wear it to the strip club when I DJ. Just because how ironically funny that would be.
Oh my.
Heath Slater mentions how close he was to getting a SmackDown Live contract. He went into the ring and said they should make him Michael Phelps so he can win some gold. Bryan said, well, you're not equipped to challenge for the women's championship. I loved how Daniel Bryan said that. How he delivered that was great. Slater goes, oh, I'm not a woman. And again, before we get to any more, I mean, the pop for Slater on SmackDown again. Hello.
Dude, he's one of the biggest pops in the entire roster right now. Like, it's absolutely incredible. And if you seriously go back and if you get a chance, go back and watch this segment. And don't look at Slater. Don't look at like Shane. Look at Bryan and look at everybody surrounding them in the ring. Because there's so many times where Bryan is doing everything he can not to laugh. And the women in the tag teams are laughing. Like, legitimately, they're popping over what's going on in front of them. And it's really funny as hell to watch it. Like, if you didn't notice it when you watched it the first time, go back and check it out. Because it's really fucking cool.
Shane then steps in and says, well, you're not a member of the roster, and even if you were, you don't have a tag partner. Slater goes, I could find someone to stand by my side, and they'll win. And Bryan said, if Slater can find a partner, they will put him in the tournament, and we'll find another team to make it an 8-tag team tournament. The only way you get a contract, though, is if you win the whole damn thing. Slater goes, I'll find a partner by the end of the night. There you go.
Is it just me? Do I really want to see Slater and Rhino win the tag team titles now?
I think they're going to.
I hope they do.
Who is this other team they're going to throw in? Are they just going to put two guys together?
That's a great question. I honestly don't know. Like, I have no clue who the 8th team is going to be.
To continue this great segment, AJ Styles comes out complaining about what happened in the back, and Slater walks up to him. Styles goes, "No, I won't be your tag team partner." I loved it. And before Styles could get too far down the ramp, Ziggler attacks him, and the wrestlers that were in the ring, the tag teams, they break up the fight as the show went to break. My God, I mean, that was a great open, Matt.
Yeah, dude, SmackDown's firing all cylinders right now, and I'm sorry, Raw is, ever since week 1, Raw has not been able to compete with SmackDown. It's seriously, it's not even close.
As much as you're down on Ziggler, I liked the fact that we had this boil over right away after the opening segment. I thought that was great with those two guys.
To me, they buried Ziggler once and for all tonight. Like, he's done.
Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss are our first match of the evening. This only took about 4 minutes, where Lynch put on the disarmer, basically kind of getting her win back. They had Naomi and Natalya on commentary as well. Slater's shown backstage, and he walks up to The Miz, and it sounds like The Miz is talking to him and saying, "Yeah, I'll be your partner." But no, he was talking on his Bluetooth and was thanking Mr. Spielberg because he'll be the next Indiana Jones. And then Slater put on...
Nobody fucking believes that.
And Slater put on his sad face. So the search continues. First round of the tournament, the Ascension versus the Usos. Every time I say a time stamp and Matt gets surprised, this is where I'm surprised this went 4 minutes, because I thought this was a good back and forth match between the Ascension and the Usos. And later on, even better, Breezango and American Alpha had a hell of a match. But the Usos, no surprise, win after 4 minutes. As much as I want to see the Ascension rise to the top of the tag division, that's not going to happen overnight. Obviously, we're leading to a Usos Alpha final. Alas, we have a little swerve there. So I wonder if the Usos and Alpha meet in the second round.
If Slater and Rhino aren't going to win, it makes sense for the Usos and Alpha to meet in the finals.
Yeah, it does. AJ Styles comes out to cut a promo, says he sees a lot of angry and jealous faces in that locker room like Dolph Ziggler. It's because he did what he did at SummerSlam, and they showed us a picture of Styles pinning John Cena.
The worst part is the entire crowd was behind Styles.
Oh, I know.
And he had to shut him up and get heat, and I just thought that was funny as hell. Because that whole crowd was like, AJ Styles. Styles was like, damn it, I'm out here. I have to cut a heel promo, and everybody's out here putting me over.
I know. Styles said what he did. He did what he said he would do, and that's beat up John Cena. He doesn't know what Cena Nation cries into: a pillow, a beer, milk, or you know. But you don't have to be Cena fans. You can be AJ Styles fans, which we are, because he is the face that runs the place. Dolph Ziggler is walking to the ring with
bitch baby Ziggler.
Ziggler walks to the ring, and we get Billy Kidman and Jamie Noble on camera there. As they were, Kidman and Noble were preventing Ziggler from going to the ring. Daniel Bryan shows up and says that he agrees that Styles deserves to be the number one contender, and said that even though Ziggler lost at SummerSlam, he came very close to becoming champion. Bryan asked the fans if they wanted to see Ziggler and AJ fight, and we get yes chance. So Bryan says Ziggler versus Styles. If Styles wins, he will face Ambrose one-on-one for the title at Backlash. If Ziggler wins, it's a triple threat. They showed some more Kurt Hawkins facts. Once he broke a promise in half. Winter is worried that Kurt Hawkins is coming. Also,
I actually thought he was going to be the tag partner for Slater.
I said that on Twitter too.
Yeah.
Death once had a near Kurt Hawkins experience. Carmella makes her entrance, and then Nikki Bella makes her entrance. That's no response, but thankfully they did something right. Nikki Bella makes her entrance, and Renee Young is interviewing Nikki, and Nikki talks about her journey and all that, and then Carmella hits her from behind.
Double turn!
We get ourselves a double turn. How well done was that, man?
I loved it. I thought it was the perfect idea for Carmella. If you ain't gonna cheer her as a babyface, you might as well boo her as a heel. The Brooklyn crowd popped huge for Nikki Bella when they came back. The face opportunity was there. It made perfect sense to do the double turn. I was thrilled.
Remember, during a lot of the earlier run of Enzo and Cass in NXT, the NXT universe would boo Carmella.
Oh, crowd hated her.
Yeah,
took the crowd a while to come around on her.
And I'm kind of glad that she doesn't do her mic work. I got so tired of that. The lines she would do.
It was only good when she was with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's in 2K17 because if you look at the photo of her from the game, she's on the ramp holding the microphone in her hand. So
she's probably considered NXT for this game. Though,
yeah,
right?
we're gonna have to hear her entrance line every freaking time she comes out. Which, funnily enough, since you have the breakout option, I think every time she starts talking, I will just break out and beat the shit out of her so she shuts up. How you doing?
Carmella left the ring, but then came back and hit the Bella Buster on Nikki. A little salt in the wound. Oh man, that was great. Didn't see it coming at all. Did you?
No, but I was happy about it. So
yep, me too. Randy Orton comes out to a nice big ovation. He's got that nasty gash on his forehead, on top of his head, from being busted wide open. Big Randy chance, out of respect. And Orton said, "You might not have expected me to be here tonight, but here I am." He said he wasn't happy,
except for all those promos on the show over the last hour saying that Randy Orton was going to be there.
Come on, Matt. Logic, come on. He said he wasn't happy on how the match ended, and Orton said that one day his path will cross with Brock Lesnar again. Again, I don't know how much we discussed this on the post show, but was this accidental or this purpose?
What, the finish?
Yeah.
If you want to believe the Vince and company, they told Jericho it was a work. This is what was supposed to happen. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. Like that's the line that you're getting out of WWE Corporate right now, that was the planned finish. But even if it wasn't the plan, they'd admit it. So conspiracy theorists go nuts.
Bray Wyatt's music hits, and he comes to the ring alone.
I called that shit.
That was easy.
Called that shit so hard on Twitter.
That was easy. After they stared each other down last week. I love the interaction with Bray. I love this. Bray kind of has a little more of an edge to him. Bray just feels different right now. I don't know why. He just feels a little different. I can't explain it, but he goes, "How's your head, Randy?" And Wyatt said that it showed that Orton's just a man, a great man, but just a man. He hurts, he suffers. A man hurts, a man suffers, a man dies. Wyatt claimed that he's not just a man, he's a god that can never die. Wyatt told Orton he'll find all about it in time, drops the microphone, and disappears. Orton's in the ring.
My main problem I have with this is Orton ain't losing 2 feuds in a row.
Yeah.
And I feel like they really need to do something to rehab Bray Wyatt on SmackDown Live, and they're not giving him many chances to do that right now.
You want to know the 1 in a million booking decision that I had come to mind?
What's that?
That they're the 8th tag team.
Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton?
Yeah, something just odd between the two. That
I don't even know if Randy will be allowed to be in the ring next week with those staples in his head.
Yeah, that's a good
They
point.
They gotta make sure that's healed up before they let him back in that ring, because that cut with 10 staples, that shit can come loose really quickly.
Yeah, agreed. What's going on? But a tag match would protect Orton too at the same time.
Yeah, but at that point you wouldn't even tag him in. He would just be there on the apron.
I just get a weird feeling that this may not be a feud. I don't know. It's something. I don't know. We'll see. Shane McMahon interviewed by Charlie Caruso. That's where we find out on the show that Brock got fined $500. So obviously this is far from over. I can't wait to see what will happen though at Survivor Series if Shane McMahon brings in a hired gun. I don't know what Kurt Angle. I don't know. I don't know who. Goldberg, yeah, maybe, yeah. Heath Slater is backstage asking Arn Anderson to be his partner. Anytime Double A is on TV, I love it. I've been a fan of Double A since I was a little boy. And
he was upset that he wasn't Heath's first choice.
I know, man. I just love it when Arn's on TV because it's so rare. I think the last time he was on TV was when Charlotte turned on Flair.
Yeah.
Slater's still looking all sad, but he got a hand on his shoulder and said that I think some kids need an above-ground pool. And then they do some kind of Step Brothers kind of quote. I kind of liked how that was put together, how Rhino walks up and I don't know, it was like a heartwarming moment, for us Heath Slater fans, right, Matt?
Yeah, dude, I'd love this. Like, I know they're not like a real tag team or whatever, but I think it would be really cool to see them win the tag titles to start. Like, Alpha doesn't need those titles immediately, and I mean, obviously they'll get them eventually. Mm-hmm. But I think it would be cool as shit to award Slater for all his hard work that he's put in since the draft has occurred. And being on both shows and really getting himself over the way that he has, I think it would be a really nice reward for him to let him and Rhino have a run with those tag titles.
Now that they're in this tournament, yes, the Usos been there, done that. Alpha, too obvious.
Well, like I said, if they're not going to win, the finals are going to be the Usos and American Alpha. Like
I think it works.
That's obvious.
Alpha it's going to work so much better for Alpha to chase like they did when they won the NXT tag titles.
The problem is we won't know until we see the brackets. Like they've clearly kept the brackets hidden. We don't know where the Usos and Alpha end up in the second round. Obviously, the Hype Bros are facing the Vaudevillains. Mm-hmm. So, and then that just leads to who's facing Rhino and Heat. So, I guess we'll know soon enough.
2 great matches to end SmackDown. First off, first round tag team tournament. All-American Alpha and Breezango was
really good.
It was amazing. I mean,
I think he's the best they've let Tyler Breeze look on the main roster since he's come up.
Uh-huh.
Even in defeat, he looked good.
And I said from day one, I'm a fan of this pairing of Fandango and Tyler Breeze. And I think this match with Alpha, I think maybe showed other people that may not have been behind him and just threw them together to job out. Maybe it showed them that they can be a legitimate team in this company. 11 minutes of great tag team work. Lots of great near falls. Jordan getting a roll up towards the end, but Breeze came back with an enziguri, got a 2 count. Jordan then hits a overhead alphaplex on Breeze, a shoulder tackle, tags Gable in, they hit Grand Amplitude to get the 1-2-3 to move on in the tag team tournament. We all knew, just like you always say on spoilers, Matt, we all knew who was going to win, but look at the journey that they took us on for 10 minutes with a highly competitive match. They then put over that there will be a live event in Shanghai, China, which Lost in the Midcard will be reporting from in September. Just kidding. Though if somebody wants to fly us there from the WWE, we'll cover it for you. Dean Ambrose shows up in a gigantic foam hat and a Mohegan Sun shirt. He's been working the roulette table, and Charlie Caruso's interviewing him. He said I figured he'd come back and check out the action. Waitress brought him a drink and he paid her in a shitload of casino chips. And then our main event, Dean Ambrose is at ringside, and I thought Dean. This is probably the best Dean's been on commentary in any time he's ever been on commentary. I thought the whole match he was great. Because sometimes commentary takes away from the match, but I thought he was just perfect here. I don't know how you felt about it, Matt, but
yeah, I thought the commentary was fine. I like Morrow on commentary, and I do my best to ignore JBL. So and, Dean being out there definitely doesn't hurt.
And Otunga's trying to keep his nose above water.
Poor Otunga.
Ziggler and Styles, though, man. Beautiful. Beautiful. 22 minutes of action. A great match. A great way to end SmackDown for the week. Again, another match. We knew the ending. We all knew that Ziggler was not going to beat AJ Styles after he beat up John Cena. But these guys put on a hell of a fucking match. In the end, Ziggler hits a zigzag for a 2 count, a very close. AJ, good job at kicking out at the last minute to making that a great near fall. And then Ziggler hits a headbutt, and then tried for the super kick, but Styles avoided it, trapped Ziggler against the middle ropes, and kicked the rope with the ref not looking, kind of like a low blow. And then that led into the Styles Clash for the W after 22 minutes. So we get what we wanted at Backlash, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose. And at the end, Styles gets in Ambrose's face, and that's how the show ended. And, man, beautiful SmackDown.
Top to bottom, excellent.
And then we got Talking Smack after that with not only The Miz cutting a hell of a promo with Daniel Bryan, we get Carmella coming out and attacking Nikki Bella while she's getting interviewed.
Which I kind of freaked out about because the way Nikki flipped over that table, like she almost landed on her neck.
Yeah.
Like, I legit, was like, damn, you don't, be more careful, Carmella and Nikki, both of you. Like, holy shit. She just got back. Don't let her flip over the damn table and land on her neck on concrete. Holy shit.
But there's videos, especially of Miz's promo. There are videos all over the place. I think Matt shared the on our Twitter account at LITMC Podcast. So go check it out, man. There's some good stuff from the Miz.
Yeah, and I think I know how. If I'm booking it, I know how Daniel Bryan responds.
How?
He's bringing in a hired gun to take the Intercontinental Championship off the Miz.
Who would that be?
He would be a Samoan submission machine.
Bum 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 bum.
Tell me that would not be amazing.
That would be fucking great.
Like, freaking Miz is out there running his mouth next week on SmackDown, and Bryan comes out and he's like, you know what, you're right. I wanted to bring prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship, but I can't. But I know someone who can. And here is the hottest free agent now with SmackDown Live in your opponent at Backlash, Samoa Joe.
Fucking great.
And Miz shits his pants in the middle of the ring. And we're going to have we could possibly have SmackDown Live, Backlash, your world champion AJ Styles, and your Intercontinental champion Samoa Joe.
I still think Dean's retaining. But
I think Styles wins the title at Backlash.
Not till the third try.
I think Styles wins the title at Backlash. I think Orton wins his feud with Bray Wyatt. And after Styles and Dean are done and over with, I think they're gonna move on to Styles and Orton for the title.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it that way right now, but we'll see how I feel once.
Well, I know you're bigger. Like, we both love Dean, but you're a bigger Dean mark than I am.
But no, it has nothing to do with it. I have had a plan of Dean as champion for a lot longer than this. So.
I think that plan went out the window after the Stone Cold podcast.
I don't know. We'll see. Impact Wrestling this week. Aaron Rex and Bobby Lashley have a little bit of a stare down. James Storm comes to the ring and is all pissed off because he says that, well, I pinned Lashley in the middle of the ring right as the bell rung, but you were busy looking elsewhere. They say how the referee's decision is final and all that fun stuff, which leads Billy Corgan to come out. Billy Corgan reiterates that the decision is final. He goes, games are won and lost in the fourth quarter, and there's nothing you can do. And Storm says, this is wrestling, and the fans want a rematch, and so do I. Corgan says that it's about wins and losses, and you lost. Maybe it's got nothing to do with your damn luck. Maybe you just can't win the big one. Oh!
Billy Corgan.
Billy
Corgan being a dick.
Billy! Storm says, I can't win the big one, huh? He goes under the ring and pulls out a toolkit and starts tearing the ring off, tearing the ring down. He goes, I built this company. I'm going to tear it down. And said, Billy Corgan, you're nothing but a stupid rock star. Here comes security. Storm takes a swig of beer and cracks one of the security guys over the head. And that, in the end, leads to Billy Corgan indefinitely suspending James Storm.
And I would not be surprised if that is the last time we see James Storm in a TNA ring.
You think so? You think we're at that point in his contract?
He worked a one-night-only match the last day of the taping set against Bram. He got on the microphone afterwards and said, due to some contract BS, that he has fulfilled his obligations with TNA. He wanted his last match to be against Bram. He thanked the fans for their support, and he was gone. So I would not be surprised unless they get
back
something
to Orlando?
worked out. Well, here's the problem with that. I know a lot of people want to immediately assume back to Orlando for Mr. Storm, but unless Storm did do what I said he did, which was come back to TNA as a favor to Triple H and raid their talent pool, if I'm WWE, I'm a little annoyed that we brought him into TV, we put him over, and then he wouldn't sign a deal with us and went running back to TNA. I hope there's no hard feelings. I would love to see him in NXT again under a locked deal.
I think Paul said, go over there, get us Bobby, try to get us Matt and Jeff, get us Eric, and we'll bring you back in.
I hope so. I mean, that was my original conspiracy theory, but I mean, who knows?
First match of the night was Eddie Edwards against Moose. Pretty good back and forth match, but Moose hits the Sky High for the W there. And as we said on the podcast, Moose is already going to get a face turn pretty soon.
Face turn's coming.
Gail, Kim, and Jade, I didn't even watch this segment. The knockouts are just not interesting to me right now. There's just nothing coming out of that division that interests me.
No, Maria being the focal point with Gail Kim has kind of soured me on the entire division because I just can't stand Maria.
Bobby Lashley interrupts a discussion among X Division guys, and they kind of talk shit to him and say, you don't have to be a prick about it. And Lashley says, I have an announcement that'll affect all of you guys. And they tell Lashley that DJZ says, I took you to the limit, and if I get another shot at you, I can beat you. Lashley just laughs it off and walks off. A four-man match, fatal four-way for the X Division guys that ended up with DJZ winning, so fully assume DJZ getting back into that title picture soon. Dixie Carter talks to Billy Corgan and asks him what happened out there with Storm, and he says that they're all stressed with everything going on, and the root of this problem is Bobby Lashley, so let's get this fixed right away. EC3 comes to the arena, and to answer Drew Galloway's challenge. And Drew comes out and immediately assumes that EC3 will not put his Bound for Glory title shot on the line against him. But alas, EC3 says, I will take you on. And the winner goes to face Lashley at Bound for Glory. And then Aaron Rex comes out, which is interesting. And Aaron Rex says, came here to rise to the top, seize the opportunity. I've known both of you guys for a long time, and I respect you both, and I'm excited to see this one, and so is everybody else. He had an idea, talked to management, and they approved it. He will be the special guest referee for Galloway EC3. Matt, I fully expect Aaron Rex heel turn help Drew Galloway win.
I already know most of the Bound for Glory cards. Do you really want me to comment on this?
Nope, I guess you don't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Eli Drake is backstage and said that Storm fumbled the opportunity of a lifetime at the goal line, and he made that title, and he was the one that made that title important. Lashley came in and said that I dominate everyone here, So yeah, whatever. I see you. I have the title, and he said, I got an announcement for you here coming up. Then they go to Broken Brother Nero walking around, and then Broken Matt Hardy says, I had a vision last week.
A
what?
A premonition.
A premonition?
That's how he says it.
The ladder is obsolete. And then Nero yells with him, obsolete! And he goes, I will be at ringside, and we'll pull all the ladders out of the ring. Nero says, he's obsolete, and Matt starts laughing like he does. Eli Drake is in the ring as the fans start chanting, dummy! Yeah! Basically, cutting a promo on James Storm and Bobby Lashley about the King of the Mountain title. Then Mahabali Shera come out and they had a match, and thankfully Eli Drake won that match. Lashley comes out to the ring and says that he has a plan and he wants to combine all three titles. Dixie and Billy say no. And Lashley basically dropped both titles in the ring and walked away. And Billy Corgan says, well, that basically means that you just vacated these titles and we'll crown new champions soon enough. Next week on TNA, as we just mentioned, Drew Galloway will face Ethan Carter for the Bound for Glory shot next week with Aaron Rex as the guest referee. It is time for the main event of the evening, the number one contenders match between the Bromans, the Tribunal, Trevor Lee, Andrew Everett, and Broken Matt and Broken Brother Nero. Gee, Matt, who was going to win this one?
Not a clue.
Broken Matt and Broken Brother Nero win. I thought these guys, this new persona, it's pure gold, man.
It is.
And I fully expect them to beat the Decay. I assume that's Bound for Glory now with these guys?
Correct.
It's just so crazy how they just stumbled onto this, and it is just brilliant.
Like, I don't know if it's going to be this way, but a lot of the storyline building up to Bound for Glory almost makes me feel like the match between the Decay and the Hardys is going to be another, like, Final Deletion type match.
Oh.
Like, I would not be surprised.
Oh, because they've been doing that whole thing with Bram and Rosemary kind of out on the farm.
It seems like they're going to prepare the battlefield for another one of those matches, and it's going to be on the pay-per-view instead of on Impact. So
TNA would be smart to do that.
It's really how the spoilers are reading to me. Like, I don't have any confirmation of that, but it seemed like I would not be surprised if the tag title match of Bound for Glory is done and filmed the same way the Final Deletion was.
Pure gold. Love it. I love Brother Nero's entrance music too. It just cracks me up. Not much to report on NXT. 2 matches that were filmed before TakeOver. Ty Dillinger. Brooklyn loves this guy. Huge reaction. He had actually a nice lengthy match with Wesley Blake before Dillinger hits the tiebreaker, which is basically, I can't remember, is it Ushu? I need to ask Morrow. It's a move that AJ Styles uses all the time. It's like the Ushu Roshi or something like that, but they call it the tiebreaker. That's Ty Dillinger's finisher. Was that the first time he's used that for the finisher?
That I can recall, yes, but I can't say that with certainty.
They showed an interview with Bobby Roode after the match and said, well, I'm glorious. Hello, are you surprised? And now I'm running late for a dinner meeting with CEOs, so piss off. We talked about the Bayley and Ember Moon thing, and then the other match of the evening was Akam and Razor. Akam and Razor.
Yep.
Authors of Pain is a lot easier to say than whatever their fucking names are. Authors of Pain took on TM61. TM61 gets a nice little reaction from the Brooklyn crowd, too. I think a lot of those people kind of know who the Mighty Don't Kneel are. So, to no surprise, the Authors of Pain win. But it was a pretty dominating match, or not a pretty good match, pretty competitive match. As Corey Graves mentioned on commentary, they're the first team to really take the Authors of Pain to the limit. So, when's NXT tape next?
They actually tape tonight. This Thursday night. They will tape,
okay.
And the next round of the Cruiserweight Classic will tape on Friday.
So our first taste of Shinsuke with the belt will be next Wednesday?
Yes.
Excellent.
I believe that I believe if things go like they went last year, the next NXT TakeOver will be on October 5th. And that will be a Wednesday night show. They tape tomorrow. Well, it's just tonight by the time you guys are listening to this. And they tape again on September 15th. And they don't have any other announced tapings after that. So it leads me to believe that, we're going to get a takeover right around the beginning of October, just like we got last year. And that'll be really cool because 3 days later, I will be attending an NXT live event in Baltimore on October 8th. And I'm very, very excited about that. So I'm very happy NXT's finally coming to my area.
Definitely. We'll have to get a report on that, too. This is the final sets of matches for the second round of the Cruiserweight Classic. In the first match, we got Rich Swann against another guy I think that the WWE could sign. This guy can cut a good promo, and that's Lince Dorado, the luchador out of Puerto Rico. And this was a pretty solid match. Guys, Rich Swann over with the NXT Universe? I mean, whoa.
Just a little bit.
My God, they sang his song almost the entire match. Towards the end of the match, Swann went for that standing 450 that got him the win in the first round, but Dorado got his knees up, and then Dorado put in an inside cradle for a near fall. Dorado with a shoulder and elbow followed by enziguri, and Dorado leaps over Swann, but Swann with a series of kicks and hits Dorado with a reverse Rana, gets a near fall. Dorado pulls Swann into a position for shooting star's press, which is how Lince Dorado won his first round match, but he misses. And Swann then gets up to the top and hits a Phoenix Splash to get the 1-2-3. So Rich Swann moves on to face the winner of Johnny Gargano and T.J. Perkins. But before we get to that, we get one of my most anticipated matches at the tournament. Drew Gulak and Zack Sabre Jr. in the second round. And, I wish the bracket was a little different, Matt. I would have loved to have seen Sabre take on Gallagher. Just the reversals and stuff those two guys can do.
Yeah, but pretty cool.
Gulak and Sabre did not disappoint. I guess I would assume Gulak's a heel in Evolve because he definitely played up the heel in this match. But Sabre just pulling off moves that you never see. How about that when Gulak at the end, he went for that Dragon Sleeper, and that pin that Sabre won the match with, that was I've never seen that pin before. Have you?
No, I haven't either. And I actually tweeted, I'm like, well, that's one way to make sure someone can't kick out.
No shit. Zack Sabre Jr. defeats Drew Gulak, and he will face Noam Dar in the quarterfinals. And then, yeah, we'll very well learn if that commercial showing the signed cruiserweights is a precursor to who's going to win this tournament. Best match of the night: Johnny Gargano, T.J. Perkins. This was a hell of a match. They had Gargano selling his knee. Were they selling the knee from something that happened in the match, or were they selling the knee kind of playing off that this happened after TakeOver?
They were totally playing off that this happened after TakeOver, because right after they showed the TakeOver match, they showed Johnny getting his knee taped up backstage.
Yeah, because quick video. I thought so, but I didn't know they were gonna.
They totally were playing off the injury from TakeOver.
And would you call this probably match of the night of the three?
Probably. I liked all three matches.
Oh yeah, they were all great. I mean, there hasn't been too many duds in this baby. In the end, Perkins hit a leaping neck breaker and put Gargano into the turnbuckle. Gargano hot shots Perkins into the turnbuckle with that lawn dart, and hits a lawn dart. God, that lawn dart that Gargano threw on, when he threw Perkins into that turnbuckle, man, that looked brutal.
Indeed.
Gargano misses a super kick, and Perkins with a drop kick to the knee, and then Perkins counters with what is called a Hertz donut and locks in the knee bar, and then he kind of adjusted to lock it in further, and Gargano again could not get to the ropes and had to tap out like he did at TakeOver. TJ Perkins is your winner. He advances to the Cruiserweight Classic quarterfinals to face Rich Swann. So the final eight are now set. The Great Eight, as they call it. Akira Tozawa, Grand Metalik, Kota Ibushi, Noam Dar, Brian Kendrick, Rich Swann, Zack Sabre Jr., T.J. Perkins. Matt, I got 6 out of 8 here, so my bracket still ain't busted. But if we're playing the who got signed game that's going to win, my bracket might be busted after the quarters. We'll have to see.
Only time will tell.
Time is going to tell. That's going to do it for this gigantic edition of Lost in the Midcard. Once again, thank you to Charles Shane and Trevor Oz for joining us. Matt, that was a great 2K discussion, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have high hopes for the game this year. I really hope that it comes through and delivers.
Definitely, and we'll keep you updated as more stuff comes up for sure. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net and for being our host and enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Just search for Lost in the Midcard, hit subscribe, and you'll know every time a new episode comes your way. That is every Thursday, typically, and also Monday after every WWE pay-per-view. We are also on YouTube. You can subscribe to us there, and the links to all those subscriptions are in the notes section of our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. We're also on the Twitter. Follow us at LITMC Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. Follow me on the Twitter at JBHuskers. My co-host, Matt Black. Follow him on the Twitter at Raw Showtime. And Matt, before we wrap things up here, how about some final thoughts?
Raw's creative team needs a kick in the ass, because we're getting to the point where I don't know if Raw's ever going to beat SmackDown again.
SmackDown was a thing of beauty this week.
You ain't lying.
That's for damn sure. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. Have yourselves a good one.